Welcome to the continued podcast adventures of Superhero Speak.
But I think many of the people that love this character and that love superheroes in general have used these stories as inspiration to say, you know what, I'm going to do something good in the world. I'm going to make a difference like my hero when I was a kid.
That is my fondest memory of it, because when you're doing comic books, you want them to affect people, right? You want people to care. You want to strike emotions, and I knew that Clone Saga was striking a lot of emotions.
Can you imagine Pulp Fiction starring Goofy and Mickey Mouse?
I can totally imagine that.
I'm sure somebody's written that one
quarter
too.
Pounder with cheese in France, Mickey? What? Boy, ale with cheese, Mickey. Yeah, I can totally.
See?
I would watch the hell out of that movie.
Yes, I gladly sacrifice up my progeny to you, almighty Marvel beast.
But Neil Adams is somewhere going, it's my time.
How do you measure success? Hey everyone, and welcome to Superhero Speak. I'm your host, Dave.
And I'm poor. John. I'm John.
I'm also poor, and I'm JD.
And then, of course, joining us this week, we've got the fabulous, the wonderful 8-Bit Ray from the Gorilla Brain podcast.
I am too poor. We are all poor, and no one loves us.
And the man who's always smiling and puts a smile on my face, D Square.
Oh, well, that's just fabulous. But I'm not poor, but I am part of the 65% that lives paycheck to paycheck. So I'm just setting you with you there.
Like but all of us are there, yeah.
So since the gang's all here, they could only mean one thing. Of course, we're going to be talking Blade 2 this week.
You notice that the more people we have, the worse the movie is that we're reviewing.
Wait.
Whoa. Okay, let's. Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll save those opinions for later on in the show.
We're going to need more people for 3.
But
just be a round table, just get a bunch of different podcasts together.
Yeah.
Make it a 5-hour marathon.
But before we'll get to that, John, how are you besides poor?
Well, I'm actually able to cool my house now. Yeah. Air conditioner went and all that. So otherwise I'm on a death march for work. I just worked another 8 hours today. I probably worked about 60 hours last week. So I'm kind of tired, or my brain is. I sit for work, so my brain is like, at this point, I just want to watch reruns of Powerpuff Girls. That's about all I can handle right now. Or reviews of Blade, but
just like
either one.
Well, just like they do in Blade 2 movie, they show Powerpuff Girls like 5 times in that.
I know, right? It's like it's on my brain because I just finished watching that again.
But
it's like,
John,
why?
the way you describe your life is like if you were like an Imperial Star Destroyer officer, like just abysmal. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just working 8 hours. That is crazy.
You're just waiting for the rebel forces to blow up the space station.
And just like the stormtroopers, I can't hit the mark. Apparently, just can't hit the mark. So
there's a lot of parallels between John's employer and the Galactic Empire. So.
Oh, definitely.
Oh,
wait, John works for Disney?
No.
A more evil company.
But not Microsoft, but in between it is.
Speaking of hitting mark, how is JD, the man who hits the mark every time?
This is true.
My wife would argue about that if you've seen her bathroom. She would disagree. No, I'm good. This is the greatest weekend of the year, NCAA wrestling. So I had a very busy weekend of catching up and arguing with people and, watching some good old amateur wrestling. So I had a blast. I started a new book that I'm reading, not writing. But actually, while on that subject, I planned out my next Kickstarter. So the link should go live any day, and it'll be a month before the campaign actually gets going. And I'm pretty excited. This is ones I'm looking forward to.
By amateur wrestling, you meant in Blade 2, right?
Oh my God! Someone's got an axe to grind this week.
There was a suplex. I'm not gonna lie.
There was a suplex. Yes,
it did in fact happen.
All right. And how about you, Ray? How is life in the Gorilla Brain podcast world?
I'm super happy, Doobie. It's good, but I'm just really happy that I got to pull out the grill 2 days in a row and got to grill seafood and different kinds of meats and do manly things. I'm really happy that the good weather is back. I'm tired of snow. I'm done with that. So
Nice.
Oh, and I wanted to ask you, what was your favorite video game magazine that doesn't exist anymore?
Oh, GamePro.
Nintendo Power.
GamePro. Yeah. GamePro Nintendo Power had the best covers, but GamePro had the best content because it was made for kids my age, and EGM was just really more professional, and I was a kid at the time, so GamePro.
Does anybody remember Game Informer?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that was
one of them too, which I was glad to hear because I pushed those subscriptions for 6 years at GameStop.
I was about to say, yes, anyone who had the power card at GameStop had that magazine.
Yeah, the reason why you were helping out GameStop is because I helped actually start that magazine. Because I worked for was it FuncoLand when they started that?
Right. Well, I did too. That's where I started, was FuncoLand, and they would give us $2 a pop for everyone we sold. And they would do this nice thing where if a game would come out, they would do like a strategy guide in the Game Informer. So every time a new game would come out, we'd be like, oh, the strategy guide, don't spend $15 on this, spend $10 on this. And which it was a decent magazine. And that's why Nintendo Power, though, you mentioned that's really king, because Nintendo Power existed when there was no other option. If you wanted to know the codes, the secrets, you had to have the Nintendo Power or a friend with Nintendo Power. Go ahead.
Say, my brother, we used to read Nintendo Power. I just like looking at the pictures of the game.
Yeah.
That's all I cared about.
And how about you, Don? Do you miss your days at GameStop? How are things going?
Things are going good. Boy, that was a time, dude, where like it was my 20s, man. I woke up, I went to play video games at work. I went home, got high, played more video games. So, yeah. But I do love having a family and responsibility, and, having a job that requires drug tests, not so bad. It works. But I'm doing good. I'm really just frustrated, actually, and this is just an old gaming boomer thing of mine, is like, I'm trying to play Halo Infinite, the campaign, which is actually really, really fun. I'm enjoying it. But, like, it doesn't always launch on my computer. So I don't know. I'm just in my head. I like reminisce about the days. If I just blew in the cartridge and put it in, maybe stuck another cartridge in between, I could get it to work. But this bullshit. So anyway, but I know that's old man shit. So
no, tell me about it. I can't get Red Alert to play anymore. Remember the old Command and Conquer stuff?
Yeah.
It's impossible to find a version that works on Windows 10, Windows 11 now.
Yeah, and I wonder how many listeners go, what does he mean by blow on the cartridge?
Oh, yeah.
That was, if you worked for GameStop or FuncoLand before, you know the spiel that you have to tell, because 1/3 of our sales had to be with cleaners.
Oh yeah, they used to pay $250 for a per cleaner.
Mm-hmm.
And you had to clean that stuff too, or it wouldn't work.
Yeah,
but Q-tips and a little bit of isopropyl alcohol and water would do just fine. You didn't need
exactly
the whole...
what the cleaner. That's what the cleaner was.
It was just fancy applicators.
But the cleaner was $16.50 or $16.95 that we had forced people to buy.
I would smack it really hard and try.
Sure.
That's the Italian way to fix things. Yeah,
even that maybe you hit it, you yell at it for about 30 seconds, and then sometimes it's much like the children. Sometimes it goes, and sometimes it doesn't.
Well, with the Polish way is to throw it across the room. So I mean,
Oh boy.
I thought the Polish way they couldn't
remember.
The Polish way they couldn't even get it to start. Don't worry about it.
So you see, Ray was going for a Polish joke, so we had to lay out and let that happen. I'm from Chicago.
Ow.
A good Polish joke.
See, now the Alpha Geek way of handling that is to get the same rubber mallet that you used to smack the hard drives, because hard drives back in the day, when they had spinning platters, the really old ones had this thing called stiction, where when you tried to read something off of them, the platters would fail to start up, and you had to literally hit it with a rubber mallet to get it moving.
Yes, that was a long time ago. God, you couldn't hit a hard parts. You
guys,
could not.
Do you know how old we sound right now?
Yeah. You could not hit, like, because they still have disk drives, but you could not hit it with a rubber mallet today. It would just completely destroy it.
Yeah, you get a head crash and then.
Well, here I'm gonna be really hip and jiggy with the kids right now. My PS5 shows up tomorrow.
Ooh,
nice.
Right.
All right.
That's right.
Wow. I it did look like you didn't have a soul anymore. I guess. How much did you have to?
Oh.
No, I mean, like, do you have to sell your soul? Like, my sister have tried to get one for my nephews.
It's
for
quite
Christmas.
easy. It's very easy to do. So you go onto Sony Direct, you buy it directly from Sony, and it's kind of funny because Walmart, if you go on their app, they're charging $850 for a PS5. If you go on Amazon, up to $1,000. Right. I went right to Sony, right to the PlayStation website, and got in an email line, and they emailed me 3 days later and said, okay, you have 4 hours to buy a PlayStation 5, one per household. And I did. And I was in the middle of grocery shopping when I got it. I'm like, oh, buy.
There you go.
I hate to admit I've had mine for, well, I'm sorry, my son's for over a year now because it was his birthday present last year. But like he followed, there's all these blogs and all these Twitter accounts and all that were like, go to this website now, they have them. And like he came up one day and he's like, they have them on GameStop. And I was able to get it before they sold out. So
yeah,
I found out about it through a Facebook ad because I was always talking about a PS5, and then you know how they listen to you.
Yes.
And then it just popped up, and I was like, okay, is this serious? Because then it took me directly to Sony, and I got on an email list. 3 days later, they emailed me and said, get in line. Okay.
So speaking of video games, you ever see those like they have the mini Nintendo and Super Nintendo has a whole bunch of games built in it, and now like some people have the clone ones where it looks like a Game Boy and it's got like 400 games in it. I bought one of those for myself and it's supposed to get here tomorrow.
So what is it? Raspberry Pi? Is that what it was?
It's probably what it is inside, and it's got like all the Mario games and karate. What was it? What's the karate game where you run around and kick?
Ooh, that's a
Double
lot.
Dragon?
Kung Fu. No,
yeah,
it was
Kung Fu.
Yes. So I'm excited to play a bunch of old Nintendo games on a handheld.
I remember that. Whoop, 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 whoop. When you were, Kung Fu. Sorry. Same.
And my week, I made a big mistake, guys. Huge mistake.
No. Blade Trinity's next week. Next time.
No. I introduced my girlfriend to John.
Oh.
Why'd you do that?
Oh, yes, I did see that.
I did notice that mistake. Yes.
Yeah. So.
Like,
we all got together for dinner.
Like face to face?
Yeah, we all got together for dinner last night and had a decent time, right, John?
So you're single now. So how's Tinder going?
That's your friend? Oh my God, I'm out of here. This thing.
No.
She said she has a friend for John.
No, nobody wants to do that to any of their friends.
I was just setting it up. That's all. I know the answer to that question.
Do you know what she actually said to me today? She's sorry she doesn't have a friend for John.
Oh, I thought you were going to say it's time to see other people.
She thinks that he's a nice guy and he should be happy.
So how good are the drugs in Philly?
pretty good.
Man, that John guy, he's pretty good. He's a pretty nice guy, man.
I knew I was about right on the bribe amount. So
This coffee is the shit. Can you feel my teeth?
No, actually, she was drinking whiskey last night.
Well, there you go.
No wonder she liked it.
Now I get it.
Yes.
God, when I drink whiskey, even I think I'm okay. I mean,
That's how we do the show.
John stumbles into the bathroom and looks directly into his own eyes and goes, "You're pretty good, man. You're a pretty good guy."
Yep.
Yes. Well, speaking of pretty good guys and craziness, let's move on to social media madness.
What?
Lisa.
What? You didn't like that? You didn't like that transfer?
There's no episode title in that. We got to try harder.
Yeah, exactly. Need better material to work with.
Okay. All right. So this first one, oh my goodness, why is my computer going crazy all of a sudden? Is from Drew C. He tweeted us last week. He replied directly. I love this.
Oh, that's my dude. Yeah, I like.
Yeah. He automatic this was the automatic tweet that goes out when we post the show, and so he obviously listens. So I love that. He said, "I wish DC would be clear with what they are doing with the continuity. The specter of Flashpoint hovering, hanging over all the DC movies activity drives me away from seeing what they are putting out. If they are going with no set continuity, cool. Otherwise, I don't know what I should do." Oh, geez.
He's making a lot of assumptions about them knowing what they're doing.
That's step one.
Yeah.
And then he followed that up with, "By the way, John."
Oh, dear goddess.
I hate Twitter but it does give a nice little platform to socialize. We wouldn't have.
No, it doesn't.
So there's no. So there's one silver lining.
I thought Twitter was like the sixth
Twitter's
point of
not
hell.
a nice platform.
Yeah.
You put those two words in the same sentence.
I like Twitter. It's far better than Facebook. Facebook is the seventh circle of hell. Twitter's like the third.
I thought it went like YouTube comments, then Twitter, and then 4chan. Like, you know.
Hey, you know what?
Facebook's way worse than that.
But you know what? It allows our fans to interact with us.
That's right. Especially Drew. Drew's a good guy. I like Drew.
Yes.
And I've told him this before that they don't have they're not good. DC, I'll do my spiel. DC's not good with continuity. They've never been good with continuity.
Yeah.
When they try to be good with continuity, it's bad. DC's best when you go, these are the gods, play amongst yourselves, right? And then you put the toys back in the toy chest at the end of the day and you move on. Like Marvel's the soap opera. DC
So as DC guys, you don't want the continuity. Then you don't want them to come in, Flashpoint, okay, new continuity. You don't
because
care.
that's the thing. Well, here's the thing though, is because DC spends so much time trying to fix their continuity. They've been spending decades trying to fix their continuity. They've been trying since 1985, and they have not. Like that's 37 years for now. They've been attempting to fix their continuity, and they never fixed their continuity because their continuity was never meant to be fixed.
Yeah, every time they fix it, they make it worse somehow.
That's every time. And they're trying, like they try to fix it. But at the same time, it's like, what do you like when we review DC books, what do we review? Right? We do these like big masterpieces that don't fit in the continuity.
Right.
Because that's when it works. Kingdom Come, phenomenal story, not a continuity. What was the New Frontier? Great story, out of continuity. Right. And like sometimes it works in continuity. And then like what was that good Green Lantern story? Blackest Night, great. You know, the Green Lantern, the whole thing, great stuff. And then they destroy the continuity. So it just doesn't work.
Right. And then even like, you know, you take the Long Halloween and the the Killing Joke, right? Like they're out of continuity stories, but then they're so popular. They take pieces and then fit them into the continuity.
And it doesn't work because it wasn't supposed to be that way.
Right.
So you wind up with 6 origins for Two-Face, 9 origins for Mr. Freeze. Like it was never supposed to be that way. And when you try to make it that way, it doesn't work. So if you try to go back and read, like example, Wolfman and Perez Teen Titans, you're literally reading 6 continuities ago.
Yeah.
Right? So why think about it? Like it just ruins the story if you try to figure out where it fits, because it doesn't.
Yeah, the last time they tried to fix their continuity, they pulled a Deus Ex Machina from Watchmen.
It's all that. Yeah, literally, that is literally what they did.
They had to bring in a reality warping being just to try and fix, and it's still quite
it's not, and they keep doing it. Like that's the most recent one. Before that, we had Barry Allen running back in time, and before that, Superboy Prime was punching the walls of reality. Reality. Like it's all ludicrous.
Yeah. Well, also along the lines of continuity. Random Randy Savage from the Cult 45 podcast said,
I know that guy.
My hope is it is a chance to disconnect all the movies and just make solid films.
Yeah.
And then there's this guy here from the Gorilla Brain podcast.
Oh, that fucking guy.
It's DC. Nothing shocks me at this point.
That's the right attitude to have.
Yeah.
The only answer.
Right. You just go with the punches. They don't know.
No, they don't. They really don't. I mean, I think that's even proven in the movies. Like, we got a solid Batman movie that is not connected to any of this stuff.
And why try?
Right.
Right. I don't want him running around with Cavill's Superman. Where's Affleck? Where, then it's like, then I got to answer that question. That doesn't make sense.
And all that breaks your suspension of
that. Batman is much better as a lowbrow street level noir like we saw in this latest movie that you guys like.
Agreed.
So they need to make peace and his fans need to make peace with the fact that yes, Superman could come and kill all of Gotham's villains and solve all the problems in 30 seconds, but he doesn't. That's Batman's territory. So great. That's where we get that. They need to stop that split personality because you're right. We're looking for the Batfleck with the Justice League.
Doesn't work.
And you need to just give us Batman and Gotham.
I mean, and that always bothered me too, that we kind of like brought Batman in at year 10, or year 15, like this is a Batman who's been doing it for a long time, is like near retirement, had a lot of tragedy, and but we don't know anything about that. Like this is his own thing.
Of all the problems with the Snyderverse movies, that one is way down the list of importance.
Oh, well, yeah.
But you're not wrong. That is true. But there's so much other things that I hate that I'm glad are gone, I think, maybe.
No, nothing is truly gone.
No,
it just
well, that's the thing
All
with
right, Luke
comics.
Skywalker.
But that's the thing with comics too. It's like people worry about what's in continuity, and like these movies, what's in continuity. I mean, the art still exists. You could still read it. It just don't rack your brain trying to do more than what's there.
No, it's
right?
really just I'm a continuity whore. Okay,
You're an X-Men fan. You have no choice.
Right.
Exactly.
I'm a Claremont disciple, right? Like everyone's trying to copy Claremont continuity, and it's just not going to happen. It's particularly when we're talking about you can't age comic heroes because they're comic heroes. So right, the continuity, it's just you're never going to get it. And believe me, I want it, but it's just not going to happen. I got to enjoy the stories as they come, or you'll be frustrated.
So, we don't mention it enough though that another person who was a slave to continuity was Bruce Timm. You got 7 different series out of him. It's spanning like over 100 years between the first Batman the Animated Series episode and the last episode of Justice League Unlimited, which also covered Batman Beyond and everything. And he made it work.
That's the thing. It was his continuity.
Right.
Yeah. He took all that and he was in control.
It's one viewpoint. Yeah.
Yeah. It's one guy doing one thing, like Robert Kirkman on Invincible. That's one guy telling one story. Like it's a lot different when you've got these big corporate entities with multiple people writing multiple editing houses, multiple, cooks cooking one giant pot of soup.
True.
You know what?
But then they don't, if everybody had a Feige, we'd be okay. But like,
yeah, but that's that's just the movies, right? And they're lucky they're lucky that works. Like it really shouldn't, but it has. Like, and I've become to find that Marvel films is the exception that proves the rule.
Yeah.
So
while we're on DC and continuity Batman, I'm kind of curious, while you guys are here, and
Carlos
Ray.
Ray.
Sorry.
Carlos.
What did you guys think of the Batman?
I never made it out to see it.
Oh, well, that stinks.
Yeah. I was the biggest advocate in the world for this Matt Reeves Batman. You remember, Dave? Like, I think we did like a crossover like a year and a half, 2 years ago. And and I made a joke and said Pattinson's going to be my favorite Batman, and everybody laughed. I wasn't laughing because I had such faith in it. So yeah, I mean, I do want to see it, but I think I'm just going to wait for it to come to Warner Brothers, HBO Max.
Well, fortunately, we'll be able to address that later in the show.
And good call, by the way. Like I wouldn't have believed it, but
I made the mistake with Ledger, and I'm like, I'm never going to do it again. I'm not going to downplay this guy because he played a sparkly vampire 15 years ago. You can't hold it against him.
No, guys got to work.
Everybody, you got to start somewhere. Actors evolve. I mean, Tom Hanks used to be a goofy rom-com guy. I mean, and now he's like a serious actor. I mean, same thing. Robert Pattinson, you see him in The Lighthouse. He was amazing. I'm not going to deny the man's acting ability.
Oh, he's really good. I think you will enjoy this Batman movie. But I think one of our friends here did not enjoy the Batman movie.
It's not going to please everybody.
Don?
Listen,
that was subtle.
I'm not going to say I didn't enjoy it. I will also admit that I'm not a Batman fan.
Just in general, like you don't like the core, the character, the concepts, like it just doesn't do it for you?
I came in with a bias that I still want Batfleck, okay? I'll admit that. I still want Batfleck. Oh, but so I put on Twitter 6 out of 10. Let me tell you, because you guys,
I was offended.
Speak, JD, John, true DC guys, true fans of the source material, because you guys like it because of its dedication or at least adhesion to the source material, I would bump it up to an 8 out of 10. I mean, I don't know that. Well, because I respect it. That's why I love Deadpool 1 and 2. It's so, to me, true to the source material that although I hate the Deadpool character, they're my top 2 comic book hero movies. I value that very much. But for me, I like the League of Shadows trained Batman. He's trained by his butler. I get it, a badass butler, but okay, all right.
Yeah,
moving along.
Yeah, I get it.
I don't know if they directly say that in this movie. I mean, I know that's the new continuity in the books, but
it was heavily implied. But they did leave wiggle room for him to have gone walkabout to get trained by other people.
Yeah, we don't know that he hasn't been. They just didn't tell us that he was. Right, but this is like Batman year 2.
It's year 2. It's year 2. And so, for me to be brief, because brevity is the soul of wit, I find myself being annoyed by year 2. Year 1 is missing, and I struggle with that. And after thinking about it and listening to you guys, and that's why I've come to understand that it was a good movie. There are going to be sequels, so the things that were left out we can still discover. And
right.
So yeah.
Are there going to be sequels? Because shouldn't it have been greenlit by now?
The Penguin got a spinoff.
Yeah, Penguin's going to get a.
I just read this made $600 million. Otherwise, equal to they're going to make more.
That's my thought. I'm shocked. Usually when this happens, studios are like, "Yes, more, bring us more," but they really haven't done this one yet, and it's surprising me.
I mean, right before the movie came out, they were in talks to do a 2 and 3, so maybe that's part of the problem. Maybe they only want to greenlit 1.
Well, okay, here. Let me throw this at you too. They're in the middle of a merger, so maybe they're holding off.
Well, that's true too.
Until Discovery does whatever. Dude, tale as old as time. The Warner Corporation is being absorbed into something else.
Right.
Yep.
Again,
the Batman producer Dylan Clark said, "I will go on record and say that it will be less than 5 years." So
that's a long time for a movie in this landscape.
Yes.
Well, yeah, it is. Especially one that's this popular. They usually like to strike hot. I
mean, Pattinson's got to be what, 35?
30. Yeah. He's late leg. Yeah,
like he's older than he looks. He's older than he looks.
Yeah.
He's playing 25, but he ain't
25. So right, and Tom Holland is playing 16, 17, and he's in his mid-20s.
Right.
He got a baby face though.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does.
But
it's starting to show. I mean,
like 25. Like you can only Luke Perry someone into high school for so long, and now he's leaving college.
Another old guy reference. All right.
I watch AEW every week. I'm inundated with Luke Perry references all the time.
All right, moving on to another movie we talked about last week, The Atom Project. We got one feedback on this. It was from, I love the username. John and I will get this. I'm not sure about the rest of you. Make Wawa nationwide, damn it.
Oh yeah.
It's his handles at Hey DD Sweets. And he said, I dug it, and I can't wait for them to team up again in Deadpool 3. So
is Wawa a gas station?
It's
think of it like a 7-Eleven, but better, cleaner, more efficiently run.
And when you look at the horizon in the night sky, and you see a brilliant glow in the distance, that's a Wawa.
No, that's a Sheets.
You Sheets guys. Anyway, another regional place. But anyway, it started out as a convenience store / deli, and they started growing, and now they added gas, I think maybe in the 90s, and now they're all, but it's a regional thing.
But they have one of the best delis ever. You walk up, you order just about anything, and they make it even custom if you need.
There is a certain time of the year where everybody behind that deli knows me by name, because I will come in
the gobbler,
the goddamn gobbler, man. Oh my god,
it's a turkey sandwich with gravy and stuffing and
cranberries. It's the full Thanksgiving dinner in a sandwich, man.
JD,
gravy is disgusting. Gravy is a sin upon nature. Right. As is JD at a gas station. Ugh.
But it's not a gas station.
I guess
it's a convenience store that happens to suck it.
I've never seen it, so I'll take you guys' word for it.
You know what?
I'm taking a Pennsylvania trip this summer. I will try and partake.
Oh, then he can do the whole what is better, Sheets or Wawa. Have a little.
I will do that.
Yeah, take them around, kind of like that Philly cheesesteak thing, where the best cheesesteaks are across the street from one another.
The best cheesesteaks are from a street vendor who hasn't had his cart checked in like 5 years.
Hasn't had his grill cleaned in like a month.
Those are the best places to find hot dogs in Chicago. So I that does not surprise me that you
do know that's the best way of how they do their Chinese food. Like you make Chinese food at home, it tastes nothing like how you get it at like a restaurant, like a little hole in the wall, because they don't clean their pots. They don't scrub them out. That shit just it absorbs into the next batch that goes into it. And over time, it's the same thing with my grandmother. She used to have a tea kettle or a teapot. And over like 10 years, she never like scrubbed it out or anything. She just let that shit just absorb. And it was just the best tea ever.
It's like you go outside. You guys have been to the New York Comic Con, right? You leave the Javits Center and all those little food trucks and like little carts. The smell just like whaps you in the face immediately. And it all smells fantastic. I can't eat any of it because none of it's gluten free. But I mean, like it all smells great. You know?
Oh, you haven't been there in years.
I haven't. Not since 2015.
Yeah, one of the things they've done the last few years is inside the like right immediately when you walk out, it's kind of like a parking lot area. They bring a bunch of food carts in now.
Really?
That's right. Yeah, so it's like you don't have to leave you don't have to swipe out or anything. You can just go to those carts that are there, and it's the niche gourmet carts. But yeah,
see, I like the dirty gritty ones.
There is usually one or two of the dirty ones.
I like those. The dirty. My friend Eric called the dirty water dog. Like,
oh yeah,
gross but fantastic at the same time. Yes.
The best chicken wings I ever had was from a Chinese food restaurant.
Really?
Yeah, it was in West Side Baltimore, where usually white people aren't allowed, but if you know somebody, then you're welcome. And they had the absolute hidden gem of chicken wings. I swear to God, I don't even know if the place is still open, but oh God, I didn't mind risking my life for those. My mouth just watered. Hold on.
The views of 8-Bit Ray do not necessarily reflect those of Superhero Speak.
There are certain spots in Baltimore where you're just not welcome.
So anyway,
that's accurate. I watched Homicide. I know The Wire.
Yeah, watch The Wire.
The greatest television program of all time. I will end it there.
That's what I said. That's what I tell Joey DiCarlo all the time.
Fantastic. It's like
he says The Shield.
The Shield is good, but The Wire is way better.
Oh God, is it?
Better. It's such a good one.
Oh, he likes those plane movies over Top Gun. What are they?
Iron Eagle.
Iron Eagle. He likes the Iron Eagles over Top Gun. So I don't know. He's a little suspect.
I recently discovered the title track from Iron Eagle on my Spotify playlist one day, and I have to admit, it's cheesy but freaking fantastic.
All right. Moving on. Not too long ago, we talked about the Smallville animated series. Tom Welling saying that What's Her Face is going to come back and play Lois on it. We asked people if they were excited about. Drew C. again chimed in with, I love the idea of animated shows. Allows for original actors to contribute without having to show their age.
Good call.
I think an animated format would be great for Star Wars legacy material. It would get Mark Hamill without having to use Digitland recasting. Wouldn't it be as jarring?
I can't argue that.
And then finally, Sevi43 just said yes.
Oh,
well, it does make it easier to replace the actress for Chloe. That way, they can just get somebody to.
She's busy.
She's a little busy.
Indisposed.
She's indisposed.
How long does she have? It's like
she was in that Nexium madness.
I don't know. She could be out, but who's hiring someone that helped sex slaves or sex slavers? I mean,
she's
Jabba the Hutt.
Right.
Fair.
Right. She's
way better looking. But yeah. Did you guys see that Nexium documentary?
No.
Did?
Crazy.
Yeah, that's worth your time.
Is it?
Yes, it's that good. No, it's a really well done story, and you're just like baffled the whole time. It's similar to the Going Clear one about the Scientologist. That was also a good one.
Oh God, that's crazy. It's funny though. If you do that, right? Like you call things like that crazy, but
it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to believe in a religion where you can go, "Oh, I was there when that happened."
Yes,
a little weird.
But is it any weirder than going to a church and drinking bread and wine and saying it's blood and
no, that shit's weird
flesh?
Too, man. Catholics are odd.
Well, you can't drink the booze without something in your gut. You got.
Oh well, yeah, there you go.
Absorbs it, man.
You got to have the most tasteless cracker ever.
Tasteless cracker ever.
It really is.
Sticks to the top of the roof of your mouth. You can't get it out. It's like
you ever have that candy when you were a kid? It was like 2 communion wafers, but there's like little like candy beads on the inside of them.
No.
Okay, that must be a Chicago thing.
Tasteless cracker. I guess that wouldn't be accepted in certain parts of Baltimore. All right. Anyway,
tasteless cracker. That's my rapper name. That's if I become a rapper, that's going to be my name.
Finally, we had talked. Of course,
episode title:
Tasteless Cracker.
Tasteless Cracker. That could be our show.
We're a bunch of tasteless crackers.
Tasteless crackers. I like that. We've lost time.
We are the tasteless crackers. All right, moving on. We had talked about, of course, the big news last week that the Netflix Marvel shows were all headed over to Disney Plus. And Drew C again said, I'm more excited about the prospect of them bringing in the Netflix Daredevil, Cage, and Jones. More. Okay, yeah. So just those three. Some people don't want to. Some people don't want Iron Fist.
I was gonna say, what was the fourth one? I forgot.
Don't forget Punisher as well.
Everybody likes Punisher, but no one talks about it. Like everyone, like I don't know, he doesn't get lumped in with the rest of them for some reason. Probably because he wasn't.
That's the same thing that happens to the Punisher movies. Though I always hear people like, "Oh, that's a cool movie," but
yeah, but
apparently
he was still good. I mean, we should bring him back, and they should bring him back.
Apparently, Ray is shocked they didn't go to Hulu.
Yeah. Completely shocked. That's where they dump everything else. It's where they dump MODOK. It's where they dump Deadpool. I think even Logan was on there at one point.
Yeah.
Has Deadpool migrated over to Disney Plus yet?
Nope. It's still there. Still on Hulu.
Surprising.
And they've got the controls now. I mean, they probably have a plan to bring it back. It almost feels like now that they've got those controls, why do they need Hulu?
Almost.
More subscription money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Different.
It's the way they can sell bundles.
I'm paying for both currently, so why not?
But I'm paying for both. But when Disney Plus started, they took my Hulu subscription money, they cut it in half, and now I'm paying the same amount, but for both.
I just get the bundle. Maybe that's what they did. They just put their stuff together.
Yeah.
You probably get like ESPN, because I get ESPN, Hulu, and Disney all together.
Mm-hmm.
That's a pretty good deal, actually.
Although there's nothing. Well, no, you don't get the ESPN doesn't give you all the good shit though. But it's I don't know.
Especially if you're a hockey fan, it's terrible. How the NHL has everything all split up is just ridiculous. So there's the NHL app, there's the Center Ice app, there's ESPN, and there's one
TNT.
more TNT. And depending if you're a fan, if you don't watch it on TNT or if you don't watch it on Center Ice, it's so split up you can't watch every game. It's ridiculous. That's why I gave up the subscription. And ESPN is free, so I'll catch the games when they're on there, but I won't go and try to track them down. It's just sad how they're doing it. Contracts are bullshit.
There's so much money in these TV rights fees for live event sports, because if you look at being a wrestling fan, I look at ratings and stuff all the time. TV ratings on cable are so bad compared to what they were a decade ago. And the only thing that draws good, consistent television ratings is one, cable news, but that's like that skews so old that it doesn't really help like the advertisers. It's all about live sports, man. Like if you can offer live sports, you can make a fortune is an understatement of what these companies are getting paid just in TV rights, because it's keeping cable television afloat. There's nothing in cable television anymore.
So yeah.
Things with 1 million viewers is like the number one show on cable.
Yeah, you remember when wrestling in the 90s was doing like 6 million viewers, and like that was low for them. They're like, oh, that was a bad week. Man, people would sell their left testicle for ratings like that these days. Doesn't matter what field you're in.
No, AEW had 999,000, and people were like, "Oh my gosh, that's great!"
Yeah. Like
it's so crazy where cable ratings are. Like, yeah, it's live sports, man. The NFL is king. The NBA is number 2.
Look at the number of viewers like the final episode of MASH got.
Oh, we'll never see that again.
Right. Because you can't get half of America to watch one thing at one time anymore.
Well, you got to look at it too as MASH. You're talking about MASH at the burgeoning days of cable television, right? So cable's just starting to be a thing. But for the most part, the overwhelming majority of the country is watching, CBS, ABC, NBC, right? And everybody dug that. So everybody watched that. And then look, even Seinfeld. Seinfeld was a fraction of what MASH was.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It was over 100 million viewers. That was, sorry.
Yeah. No, that's
100 million viewers. That's a lot.
So,
wow, that's
over 100 million viewers.
God
Yeah.
damn, that's more than I thought it was.
So what does it go? The MASH, right? It goes MASH, the OJ trial, 9/11, or
Something like that.
Something like that. Yeah.
105.9 million people watched the final episode of MASH. So
it's super sad.
It is, but you can't. But again, because there's so much on at any given point now, and the internet, you can't get most of America to watch the same thing anymore.
No, and nor should you. To be honest, there's more stuff to watch. Like if you look at a lot, like MASH was great, but if you look at the other sitcoms from that era, they're freaking terrible. Most of them, they really were.
Variety is the spice of life.
It is.
And then the last two we have here, Timothy Jones. This one made me chuckle. He said, I checked my Disney Plus and the shows weren't there. And then I realized my settings were on TV 14. I'm such a kid. That made me funny. That made me laugh because I use my daughter's Disney Plus subscription, and my son-in-law was like, oh yeah, I fixed because he's, the main profile. He's like, I fixed the profiles. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, by default, I think it was TV 14. So you
Yeah.
actually had to go in and up it. So if you wanted to watch the
It-
the
yeah,
mature
by default it
content.
is, yeah.
It just popped up for me. It said, "Do you want to have mature content on your feed or whatever?" And I'm like, "Sure."
Okay.
Got to watch that sharing too. Netflix is test marketing now something that detects that your account is being signed in by 2 different IP addresses, and they're trying to charge people for it now.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Good thing I don't pay for the Netflix account. Sorry, Matt.
Better tell my dad he better fork over some money. You want to keep using my
Yeah,
ESPN?
but that's not going to fly because people will watch Netflix on their phone. They'll go on vacation and watch it somewhere.
Yeah,
They're going to charge people to do that. Then they'll start losing subscriptions really
you
fast.
only really need a VPN or just change your IP address.
Although, well, it's not.
They're going to spend more money hunting that than they will if they just let it go.
See, the thing is that they don't have to go by IP address. They can go by MAC address, which is completely unique per actual system. So like your TV has a different MAC address than anything else in the world, which means that they could just lock it down to the MAC address.
No, but that's even dumber. If you have multiple TVs in your house and you watch it on one TV during the day and then watch it another night, they're going to charge you per TV.
This is talk. They're never going to be able to do
They're not going to do it. And it's actually much harder.
You are counting on a giant corporation to be smart about something. I mean,
John,
this is.
We get it. You're held hostage by the empire, and you've got to serve overlords.
I didn't say that outright.
It's like listening to Russian state
I'd never
television.
admit that in public.
Because I'm sure your evil empire's working on stuff like that too. But
Sputnik John over here, man.
I can neither confirm nor deny anything.
Oh, by the way, sour grapes. Find it by newspapers. Yada, yada.
Yep.
That actually it sounded like Tim was workshopping an idea for a strip in that tweet. So I hope.
Yeah, I think so. And then finally, the
Hold on, real quick, Dave. Real quick. I just got to know. We have a group of guys here. You all have Disney Plus. Everybody here has Disney Plus, right?
We all,
Of course.
Yes.
Excellent. Who is your profile picture? Who's your icon?
Din Djarin.
Okay.
what do you do?
Toothless.
Darth Vader.
Cruella DeVille.
Really?
Nice.
Cruella DeVille is my favorite villain, cartoon villain ever. Period.
It's the cartoon and not the live action one.
No, not the live action. No
Okay.
Emma Stone for Ray. Thanks. I hate her.
But again, like I said,
Wow.
I'm using my daughters, and they set it up, and since I'm her father, she did Darth Vader. Thought that was funny.
She couldn't have made you Christopher Robin or something like that.
No, Darth Vader.
Said father, not daddy. So
My hand is stuck in the honey jar. Come get it, Christopher Robin.
Yeah, I have Winnie the Pooh because my child at the time, who was 4, decided he wanted Winnie the Pooh.
so it'll be. I'd say Batman, but it's Disney Plus. Oh well.
All right, and finally, the ODPH podcast said, I am actually more excited about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. coming over. Season 4 was one of the best TV seasons ever.
It was pretty good.
Was that Ghost Rider? Was that the Ghost Rider season?
Yeah, which
Or
one's
was that
season 4?
Yeah, that was Ghost Rider.
Okay. I never made it that far.
I'm excited because I never watched S.H.I.E.L.D. because, it's hard to say, 8:30 on a Monday or whatever. Let me go sit and watch TV. And it just
was
wasn't
on a
that
Friday.
good.
It was on a
Or was
Friday.
it a Friday? Whatever.
Yeah.
Either way, I played D&D. Actually, yes, I played D&D on those nights. So I was usually downstairs.
And I bet you were the same person that didn't watch Constantine.
Actually,
No, yeah, you're absolutely correct.
Worst
Season-
time slot in history.
Season 1 was 8 o'clock, and it was either Tuesdays or Thursdays. I don't remember. And
Yeah, I think you're right.
And because the reason I remember that is we used to do at 9 o'clock, we would go live on what was the old Google one where you could stream video. It was like a chat thing. We would go live on that and do a after show review every week.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yes.
But, so I never watched that show because the first episode or whatever, it didn't hook me enough to be like, yes, time at this time I'll be here. But now that it's passive almost, I can just put it on whenever I got the time. Now I'll probably check them out. Same thing, with Daredevil.
One of the worst things they did was they moved it to 9 o'clock, and it was like, I'm not staying up till 10 to do this, so we stopped doing that.
Yeah, you have the crazy sons of bitches that'll stay up on, like, if Loki drops an episode or WandaVision, you're up at 3 a.m. watching it.
God, no.
Yeah.
Oh, I know those people. I know them.
Which reminds me,
my son is one of them.
we're gonna have to start talking about the Ms. Marvel series coming up too.
Yes.
We did not post that this week. We could have talked about that week. The trailer dropped and that was in the news.
And it's very good.
I completely forgot to include it. So maybe we'll talk about that in a minute. All right. But on that note, if you want to know how you can be part of Social Media Madness, follow us on social media. Here's our good friend D Square to tell you more.
I know that guy.
Enjoying the show? Want to be part of Social Media Madness? Make sure you are following superheroespeak.com, where you can find all of the show's social media links at the top of the page. While you're there, you can check out old episodes of the podcast as well as some other great content. Check the site often because we are posting some great comic reviews as well as comic book and movie news content every day. Make sure and follow us on Twitter at SuperheroSpeak. And while you're there, check out the rest of the Geek World All-Stars Podcast Network. You can follow them at @stars_geek. The Geek World All-Star Podcast Network include great programs such as the Pop Prison Power Podcast, Cult 45, So Wizard, Fans on Patrol, the Gorilla Brain Podcast, and of course, Superhero Speak. Search for #GWAllStars. You will not be disappointed. Now it's back to Dave and the boys on Superhero Speak. He's a jackass.
Thanks for that, Don. And I think JD's going to make that joke every time you're on this show. It's like a dad joke because you just repeat it over and over again.
Yep.
All right. So while we're here, Don, why don't you tell people where they can find the Omega Level Nerds podcast?
You can search YouTube Omega Level Nerds and you'll see the show on there. You can also go on Podbean, which is a great app. Apple Podcast, we're on there as well. Omega Level Nerds. Follow the show on Twitter at Omega Level Nerds on Twitter. And you'll get your link there if you can't find us on the search.
All right. And Ray, of course, the Gorilla Brain podcast.
Yeah, you can catch Gorilla Brain Podcast on any podcasting app that's out there, Spotify, Apple Podcast. There's some people still call it iTunes. I don't know why. But, I'm out there on Twitter at Gorilla Brain Pod. You can message me if you don't like the things that I say on this show. By all means, just come at me. I love it. I love the drama. I'm also on Instagram at Gorilla Brain Podcast and on Twitch at 8-Bit Ray.
You love the drama. You caught when we tweeted news that changed, or we talked about news that changed from the time we recorded about the Babylon 5, and we got attacked.
Yeah,
by Babylon.
I saw that.
Fans.
I think I'm the one that told you about it. I was in the chat going, what did Dave do? Pissed off a fan base, and me and John are just standing here with our hands up like, what did we say? What did we do?
It's two people that liked it. How did
because there's there's a ton of JMS stands on Twitter, and it's like, I see this in wrestling, but like you say the wrong thing about the wrong individual, and then all these like snipers come out of the woodwork like, how dare you
just be happy there's a podcast with not one but two people that even know about and like the show. I mean, geez.
The important thing was Dave tried to get him on the show, which is that is what you do. That is what you do when you get controversy. Shill. You plug your stuff. I was very proud of you for that.
I modeled a lot of my stuff after Stan Lee and wanting to always sell myself.
Yep.
So
well done.
On that note, on selling myself, we're going to take a commercial break and we'll be right back.
We're whores!
How much?
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Let's be honest, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we're here to do. If you've got a podcast, you're whoring yourself out.
Yes. Mm-hmm. All right.
I do it with my clothes on.
We're back.
And no hot tubs here.
So what's your OnlyFans now? It's like
at Sloppy Toppy 69.
Oh, Sloppy Toppy.
Well done to play that up so quickly.
Yes.
Because it's real.
Right.
All right.
Shit.
All right, let's. You know what? I didn't include it, but that's right. I completely forgot. Let's talk about the Miss Marvel trailer. What did we?
Did everybody see it?
Did everyone see
trailer?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What do we think? Obviously, I mean, I get the feel from the trailer that they're definitely going for like a tween audience. What did you guys think?
Yeah, definitely tween audience. I got some Scott Pilgrim vibes early in the trailer. A little bit of The Weeknd with the music. I think it looks fun. I don't think I'm the target audience, which is fine because I'm not. So I hope it does really well for them because she's a character with a passionate fan base, and it looks like a fun show.
I'm interested to see what the new origin is because instead of Terrigen Mist, it looks a lot like she's got quantum bands now.
Terrigen Mist was the dumbest thing Marvel ever did. Like, let us not forget why. Let us not forget why we had Terrigen Mists for a brief period in the 2010 era. Don,
why is that?
Why was that, Don? You remember?
Well, because the Inhumans released the Terrigen Cloud so that they can make more Inhumans, but that same Terrigen Cloud killed mutants on contact, hence why you had the Inhumans versus the X-Men. In which case, by the way, the Inhumans got the shit kicked out of them. Very first salvo, the X-Men capture Black Bolt. Very amusing way, by the way, because Black Bolt goes to scream at Emma Frost, although, it's not Emma Frost, it's Dazzler. Now you're fucked. Anyway.
Oh, jeez.
That is the end continuity story. The business story is that Marvel decided we need to push.
They were going to kill him, right?
Because the X-Men were owned by Fox. And
yep.
Perelman.
I have a hatred
money.
for all things Inhuman, and that's 90% of the reasons why.
Dude, they tried to make. Remember, they tried so hard to make the Inhumans happen, much like Fetch. It never quite worked.
Yeah, it worked worse than the Celestials. I mean,
yeah.
But
so we didn't like the Inhumans show. Nobody.
Oh my god.
Nobody like. Yeah.
What you cut off Medusa's hair in the first episode? What?
And your bad guy has a point. Come on.
It always seemed like a cheap knockoff of the actual X-Men, right? I mean, like, why do you need mutants and this other, the same thing? They're basically the same thing, right?
Because they couldn't use the X-Men. Fox had the X-Men, and this is
they wanted to choke off the property. The most popular, the book that has sold the most comic books in the history of comic books, they wanted to choke off and make us think, oh wait, the Humans are the cool guys now.
I mean, like they did with the Fantastic Four, because
100%. No, same exact era. They buried the Fantastic Four because they weren't owned by them at the time. They got away with it with the Fantastic Four, but they couldn't with the X-Men because here's the funny part: is Marvel's making that deal with Fox saved their whole thing, like saved Marvel as an entity, right?
Yeah.
But then when they're safe, now they're like, well, we want it back, and then they just went to Daddy Mickey, and then Daddy Mickey fixed it and bought Fox, so now it's not a problem anymore.
Well, it is a problem, but that's a whole other show because I think they need to do the X-Men in a very weird way. I know we already talked about it, where it should be a show. Honestly, it should be like 3 shows because the X-Men fan base is so scattered. You've got the old school guys, then you've got the newer school giant size X-Men guys, then you've got the New Mutants people. Like, you're gonna have to I'm just telling you, it's actually going to be a mess. I'm scared, but anyway, it's a whole nother.
But the Captain Marvel thing, didn't they try that tweening thing with the Runaways? Wasn't that a thing?
Right. Yeah, because there have been a couple of different Marvel.
Yes, but here's a question: who has made the Runaways?
Fox.
Yeah.
No, Runaways was on Hulu. It was Disney.
Oh, it was Disney.
It was the
Was it Disney?
It was the net. No, I'm sorry, I'm wrong. It was the Netflix end of when TV was cut off. It was the low end, I should say.
Yeah, but there was another X-Men shoot out TV series. No, there was Legion, but there was another one.
Hellstrom.
Gifted.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Was that any good? Anybody watch that?
That was decent.
Decent.
Yeah.
People
one?
raved about Legion. I never saw Legion.
Right, but I think Runaways
Legion was great.
It didn't hit.
Yeah. Really,
it wasn't
really head trippy.
Well, here's the other thing. Here's the thing. I don't think Runaways was fun.
I enjoyed it.
It wasn't. It was
as
a
good
teen
as
drama.
It was. It was very teen. It was
right.
Very OC.
It
wasn't as good as the show. Yeah, it wasn't as good as the comic.
Right. Where it looks like Miss Marvel's going to have fun to it. Like she's going to enjoy being a superhero. Which is. I think that's the way we all were when we were teenage girls. We wanted to be superheroes.
Fair. No, I mean, like, I think that's it was true of having Disney make something and having like somebody else do it, because Disney knows how to strike the right balance and tone with these things.
But there's an overall push here, right? Like this Miss Marvel, they want to be like a mainstay character, and the evidence I present is in the Avengers game. you start off as her. It's actually why a lot of people complained about it, because they were pissed off you had to start off as Miss Marvel. I didn't think there was a problem with it. Well, she's like the fresh face that they're pushing with the new Avengers and Champions and shit. So
she's this era's Kitty Pryde, if you will.
Yes, exactly. And of course, and it's also the left side of politics representation there too, with her being a Muslim. But although I don't think there's anything politics about it, diversity is a good thing. Comicsgate people find ridiculous reasons to, and that's essentially what it comes down to, is the character gets a little heat because Disney or Marvel, whatever, tries to push her because she is popular, she is new age, and then she gets the fire from the right-wing crotchety guys who don't like anything that
her books
what they grew up with. They do. Yeah,
right.
No, it is. Exactly.
I was about to say, I think her fans are as rabid as like the Squirrel Girl fans, but I think there's more of them than there are Squirrel.
Did somebody say Squirrel Girl?
See?
Yeah, no, she is a banner character. Like, people carry her battle flag,
right?
Well, you've got a Peter Parker thing going. She's young. You're seeing everything, all the superhero stuff, but through young, fresh eyes in this comic. So it kind of makes it more fun. I've heard. Again, I've never read a single Miss Marvel book. Again, I'm not target demographic, but I've heard that they changed her power set for the show.
It does kind of look like that.
Yeah, like I said,
some sort of cosmic power. Because otherwise, she's just an Inhuman that's like that can make her limbs and fists and shit so big.
And big in them.
I was about to say
it looked like she either had the negabands or
she's got some flashy shit. Yeah, going.
Yeah, but she got the negabands like Quasar.
No, the
Quasar.
Quasar doesn't use the negabands. He has the.
Captain Marvel used the hands, but he had the negaband. He had the band.
Yeah, but there's two. The negabands are different than what Quasar.
Can I put a theory about that?
Yeah.
We know the Fantastic Four is coming. So do they want to introduce a character who feels like a copy of Mr. Fantastic before they bring the Fantastic Four in? Yeah. So
the quantum bands and the negabands, but we're not sure which one she's got. They don't look like the quantum ones. So but I mean, who the hell knows? I saw one theory that there's one scene in the trailer where she's going through somebody's attic, and they think maybe they're going to tie this in by she's going through the attic of some not Kree, but one of the ones that
Skrull?
The Skrull, some Skrull who got their hands on those bands and were hiding them from the Kree, and she finds them and puts them on. There's
but why would she be going through an attic?
I don't know, but the thing is that there's some storyline I'm not aware of having to do with the Kree in some form of the negabands or the quantum bands.
Well, I mean that would fit into the next Captain Marvel movie too, if they tie her origin into this.
Well, I mean the next movie is the Marvels, so it's got Captain Marvel, her, and was it not Photon? What's her name?
Monica
Rambeau, who's playing what's her name? What's her superhero name? I forget. She's gone by so many.
She's gone by a few.
Yeah, that's the thing. I have a hero clicks of her, and it's actually I just won a badass match last night with her, and it's just Monica Rambeau. So I don't know.
I believe Photon, right?
I think Photon is one of them.
Yeah, you said Photon, John, and that's probably what they're going to go with, but we'll see. They haven't actually called her anything yet, so
yeah. Well, we'll get it now. I mean, that's what that
right.
And we know the Skrulls are involved because the last time we saw her, she was involved with the Skrulls, which if the next movie is going to involve the Skrulls and they're putting Miss Marvel in it, there might be some.
Wait, could they do something to piss DC off and call her Monica Marvel? Like Mary Marvel?
It would be. Please God, I hope they do not, but they could.
Get the lawyers out.
So are we all going to at least check out the first episode?
Yeah,
of course.
Oh yeah,
it's Marvel. We're contractually obligated.
Genetically obligated.
Yeah.
Well, I've got two daughters that are vaguely interested in superheroes and stuff, so we'll definitely sit down and check it out. Sure.
All right.
Like that Red
I'm
Panda
not the biggest...
movie or Turning Red. Like, oh my God, anyway.
I watched that.
I've never been a Captain Marvel guy.
Not horrible.
No, it wasn't horrible.
Me neither.
Yeah, I liked her when Captain Marvel was Miss Marvel, but things change.
It's just never been my thing. I don't know.
I'm not target audience. People seem to
for me, the whole, it's funny to see all this Miss Marvel stuff now, because to me, forever, Miss Marvel was the chick that Rogue got her powers from.
Right, which is
here we
who
are
Captain
now.
Marvel is now, right?
Right. So now here we are.
Danvers, right? So
Binary.
Oh my God, that's right.
Yeah,
She said other names, weird names.
That's how she has had a lot of names. That is accurate. But yeah, when I met her, her name was Binary. Actually, the first X-Men I ever bought was Rogue versus, I believe she was Binary at the time, 1990.
Probably. So, well, that's where Rogue already had powers. It's where she got her powers of flight and her strength.
Yeah. Yes.
All right.
The ones
speaking of,
she has, the ones she's known for.
Speaking of Disney Plus and stuff on Disney Plus and things that appeal to old guys like us, the big news that hit this weekend, of course, Christopher Llyod, the one and only Christopher Llyod, has been contracted to join the cast of The Mandalorian for season 3.
Great Scott.
So he's not going back to the future. He's going to the future this time, right?
No, he's going to a long time ago and a galaxy
so
far,
he's
far
going
away.
even further back. Wow.
He's going ahead to the past.
There you go.
He will always be Reverend Jim to me. But
That's
anyway.
what I was just about to say. If they're gonna, I want him to be an offshoot of that character, just like a taxi speeder driver, Reverend Jim.
Yeah. I'm glad he got his life back together, though, man. That was tragic what happened to him.
When? What happened?
Christopher Llyod, he doesn't believe in banks, so he kept all of his money in his house, and his house burned down.
Oh God!
It's the same thing that happened to Nick Nolte.
Oh my God!
Yeah, so that's why he took all these like small acting gigs. Like he was in Piranha 3D, I think it was the second one, the second remake.
He was in the Tremors TV series.
Yeah, he was just taking small acting gigs
now,
to pay the bills.
He doesn't trust banks, or he doesn't believe they exist.
He doesn't trust banks.
Oh, okay.
So he kept all of his money under his pillow, and it backfired. So
that's a lot of money to keep under your pillow.
He had a DeLorean.
Oh my! I can't get over that because he probably made a good amount of money over the years, and wow.
He gets residuals from the Back to the Future movies, doesn't he?
He does get residuals, I'm sure.
Yeah, he probably cashes the check at Walmart like everybody else and takes it home.
Can you imagine being somebody that like works at a place like that, and he comes in every week or so and cashes a bunch of residual checks, and you're like, look at him like, Mr. Llyod, why don't you go to a bank?
They probably know who he was. They work at Walmart.
Oh, come on. You got to know who he
probably
is.
Young. I mean, like, I don't know. I doubt it.
But if he's been doing it forever.
Yeah, well, they probably just know him as the guy cashing his checks at Walmart. There's a million people that cash their checks.
But I'm saying even when he was doing it, when he was in Back to the Future, and everyone knew who he was at that point. And he comes in and cashes a check and then walks out. You're like, okay.
Yeah, it's weird, man. I didn't know that story. I'd like to read more about it, to be honest with you.
So regardless of his misfortune, any thoughts on seriously who he might be playing, because that's under wraps?
Not even a clue of like where they're even going to take Mandalorian season 3.
Yeah.
I just get this sense that he's going to be some like creepy imperial scientist, who's after Grogu.
I could see that. That'd actually be great casting, to be honest with you.
Yeah, he's played creepy before.
Judge Doom.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
In the dip.
I showed Andy that movie a couple of years ago, and he was having fun until Judge Doom showed up, and then he was not having fun anymore.
He could bring the dip again because Grogu looks like a cartoon.
Was that the first crossover? Thinking about it now, like, is that because that had Bugs Bunny and Mickey Mouse in it?
Oh, it had everybody in it.
Yeah, it had everybody.
Yeah. It is a movie that could not be, because these entities have grown. You could not do Roger Rabbit today.
Which is probably why there's never been a sequel. Poor guy.
Yeah. No, and there was talk about a sequel at different times, but the companies can't agree on sharing the rights or anything. Yeah.
It's okay. We still have that amazing NES game, guys.
Well, it's the same reason there's, the re-release of George Perez's Avengers JLA came out. And mainly because, poor George is dying. Not going to do a book like that. Will never happen again. Disney getting Disney and whatever the hell Warner is going to become next week, like together on the same thing. It's never going to happen again. Like, it's not two companies that, have a friendly rivalry anymore. It's like these two multinational conglomerations sharing IP. It's just, those days are over. That's the last one. That's the last one we're ever going to get.
Well, it's probably why we're never going to get another Marvel versus Capcom. I can see that too. Marvel just not wanting to do it. They'll do their own fighting game or something like that. I could
Disney will have their own thing with Kingdom Hearts or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Fuck Kingdom Hearts.
Oh my God.
You better watch your step there.
Part 3 was garbage. Don't care what you say,
boy.
Don. Garbage.
Hey, I never gave the first one a chance. I just don't talk about it because I'll get all sorts of vitriol. You don't like Kingdom Hearts?
You went in earlier in this episode and you said that you're a continuity whore. Am I correct?
Yes.
What the fuck are you defending Kingdom Hearts for?
I'm not defending. I'm just warning you that their fan base might come after you. That's all.
Once again, the opinions of 8-Bit Ray do not reflect those of Superhero Speak.
I love the drama. Bring the drama.
I'm calling time at 9:42 p.m. Monday night. That's when we went officially off the rails.
I'm just saying, Don says he's big on continuity.
Are we ever on the rails?
Kingdom
No.
Hearts has the worst
rails.
continuity in any video game ever. History. Period. The end.
All right.
It's almost as bad as DC's.
Well, speaking of
I didn't
DC,
say that.
speaking of DC and continuity, Paul Dano, who just played the Riddler in the Batman movie,
Fine job.
yes. Well, let's see if he can write as good as he acts, because he will be writing a Riddler prequel, if you will, for the Batman.
Does it really matter though? It's like getting Danny DeVito to go and write a Penguin comic.
They did that.
They're doing that.
That's what I mean. Or a better example, get Michelle Pfeiffer to write a Catwoman comic, okay? Something that I didn't even know really existed.
No, it's a dumb trend. I don't respect it.
But
I'll
here's
be
the
honest
thing.
with you.
You're going to go through so many editors and you have to get so many okays from the higher ups for this thing to even get put out. And it has to be at a certain criteria.
It's shtick.
It's just a fucking name. It's a name. Okay, the guy that played Riddler is now going to write the Riddler comic.
Do you remember a couple years ago when J.J. Abrams' kid wanted to write
I was gonna
Spider-Man?
Yeah.
Same thing. I mean, it's gonna be the editor. I mean, it's just the editors are gonna write it. He'll put a good script together. It's probably not gonna be well done comic scripts. So the editor's they'll have an assistant editor, and the editor will sit there and they'll peel a good story out of it. And do they announce who the artist is gonna be on it?
I don't know. Let me bring the
artist
article
will
up.
do the heavy lifting, and it'll be passable. And it's a marketing gimmick, and it's what it is.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. Yeah, this was a tweet. That's right. And from Matt Reeves that announced it. And he doesn't say who the artist is. And that's another thing, too. I will say that a lot of people don't realize how much of the heavy lifting artists do in comics. But I'm curious, are you more opposed to Paul Dano writing it? Or are you opposed to the idea of a Riddler prequel story?
Anybody could have wrote it. Anybody. Danny from down the block. He could have wrote that. It doesn't matter. It's approved through so many levels that it's just a shell. It's slap a name on it. That's all it is.
It's not going to.
It's not like Stephen King wrote it. You know what I mean?
When Stephen King did write comics, he wasn't even writing them. That's how Scott Snyder got his start.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Scott Snyder and Stephen King's American Vampire, and they sold the first trade as this is Stephen King in comics, and it was Scott Snyder. But because he won a contest, and so he got to be friends. And King works with anybody. If you want to. If King thinks you're talented, he'll work with whatever, And so they workshopped the initial idea for American Vampire, and that's what made Scott Snyder.
So is the reason you never worked with King is because he doesn't think you're talented? Wait, what?
Yeah, pretty much. That's pretty much what it comes down to.
Yeah, I don't like. I just personally, as a comic person, and I know I watch comic book movies, but I'm really not a big movie actor person. I don't really know who Paul Dano is until recently. Why would I want to read a comic book, based off of anything he came up with? So, like you said, it's going to be edited all to hell and probably be passable. What I do like, though, which is interesting, they're taking a page out of Disney's Star Wars book, and what I mean by that is, although Marvel, they don't share continuity between the movies and the comic books. They don't. But Star Wars does. Star Wars includes all the comic books since Disney acquired the rights into their continuity with the movies, and the universe grows exponentially because of it. We know so much cool shit about Darth Vader and Darth Sidious's relationship because of the Darth Vader comics. So I do like the expanding of the universe in sharing it with comics, which again is not something that's done in the Marvel universe and not done in the regular DC universe. So I like that. I just don't give a shit about him writing.
Well, here's the thing too, is like Paul Dano's a method actor, right? So big part of the method acting school is that you build your character's backstory. So you know how to play them. You go ahead and you write that stuff out. It's very something I learned when I was doing like the independent film and stuff like that, was that a lot of these actors, when they're trying to get into their characters, they will do that. They will sit down and they will write what the character is to get a better understanding. So I'm sure this is what he came up with while he was figuring out how to play the Riddler. So if you're into the acting kind of chops, this could be something cool. I don't know. It's not for me.
That does make it a little bit more interesting, actually, that you mentioned that.
Yeah, so this is part of his. I think this is a big part of his acting process. Process. And I'm sure he mentioned it, and they're like, "Dude, we can make money off this. Let's sell it."
Right. All right.
So
that's my feeling, that he talked to like Reeves and some other people and was like, "Yeah, this is what I'm thinking for the character and where he's coming from and blah blah." And they're like, "Oh, yeah, we can make money off of that." So
your name on it, governor, and we'll sell it.
That's what they do. They're trying to keep, we want to keep making these movies. We got to keep these ancillary properties flowing. People stop caring about Batman. They stop going to the Batman movies. Not that that's ever going to happen, but
that will, right.
Well, I mean, speaking of that, you don't have to wait long if you don't want to go to the theaters to see it, because apparently they just announced that in mid to end April, they didn't give it an exact date. They said like the end of April, The Batman will be available on HBO Max. That's really fast.
Really fast.
But I like it.
Did it get leaked?
No,
I think it leaked. It just made so much money, $600 million. They're like, okay.
Well, it was supposed to be May. It was supposed to be like towards the end of May when they first announced the theater dates and then the on-demand dates.
Maybe they got other movies coming out. Like, I mean,
I think it got received better than they thought it would. Honestly, I think it just
and
way better than they thought it would.
When you own the distribution channel and you can get it on there quicker, you're going to, because it might up subscriptions.
Conspiracy theory. We're going to get the new whatever HBO Plus Discovery Plus is going to be, will be launched around this time with the Batman is going to be
nice.
One of the big draws.
That would be the one to do it with.
Give it some rub.
I wouldn't call that a conspiracy. I would call that a business plan.
Yes. Doesn't sound as fun when I call it that, though.
Reason, craziness. What are they anyway? These days, it's all the same thing.
Yeah. So Ray will be able to see it soon.
I could probably see it right now if I really wanted to.
I'm sure it would.
Yo ho, me hearties. I got a jar of dirt.
And then finally, this story was specifically for JD.
Is it My Little Pony?
Warner Brothers shares the first picture from Gremlins: Search for the Mogwai.
Secrets of the Mogwai.
Secrets of the Mogwai.
Yeah. Sorry, Secrets of the Mogwai. And it's a animation still.
Gizmo jumping.
Yes.
That's
it. And it's that pixelated, or that style you don't like, JD.
I mean, I don't care. I'm gonna watch it anyway because it's Gremlins. It's fine. It's fine. I don't know. I mean, like, I want to see it moving around and stuff before I make any calls, but looks fine. Dude, it's
right. But I mean, it's the whole reason you wouldn't watch What If series, because you don't like that style of animation.
I don't. Well, there's more reasons that, but I don't like the style of animation. But I like Gremlins a whole lot more than I like the concept of a What If TV show. So that's I'm at least going to watch the pilot.
How about you guys? You're on. Ray, are you excited for Gremlins TV show?
I watch Gremlins at a midnight showing with Joe Dante.
And that is the coolest.
And he did a Q&A after. So I was sitting about 10 feet away from Joe Dante, and that was really cool. But
that is cool.
And yeah, it was at Alamo Drafthouse. Shout out. I know Epic Film guys love Alamo. So anyway, Alamo Drafthouse after midnight, Joe Dante. So it holds a special place in mind. But the sequel, I'm not a big fan of the sequel. And now that they're going to do another one, I'm even less excited, to be honest with you. I think did you see the first one? Is it a prequel?
Yeah,
I don't need a prequel.
It's a prequel series.
Guy goes to China shop, buys Mogwai, takes home, anarchy ensues. Perfect. I don't need a prequel to that.
I agree.
Yeah.
But I'm going to watch it.
Live in the madness.
We'll check it out just to see.
Yeah, of course. I'm sure we'll talk about it a little bit on this show at some point. Don, you're being quiet. Are you actually a Mogwai?
Yeah. I better not feed me at this time of night. I watched Gremlins as a kid. I'm one of those weird ones. I like the second one better. I liked how all those other Gremlins turned into cool shit. I played the hell out of Gremlins 2, the Nintendo game. So, I mean, I enjoyed that, but outside of that, yeah, I'm not interested to see a younger Gizmo in Shanghai and his ride on the boat to America. I'm not interested in that. So,
I have a question. So, isn't it always after midnight? So, can you only feed the gremlins exactly at 12 o'clock midnight? And
what time zone were they originally?
What time zone is it?
What, and was it daylight savings time, or like, you know, like there's just it? You don't think about it.
No, these are jokes directly from Gremlins. They literally made this exact same.
Yep. Yep.
Plus,
Which was nice.
Hulk Hogan.
It did have Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, that was part of its charm, though. It was self-aware.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it had Nicki Minaj in it. I mean, that was a long time ago. I love Nicki.
What?
I got.
John's
yeah,
not
Nicki Minaj was in Gremlins too, John.
Yeah, that's what I thought you were. That's why there's a really ugly girl gremlin in Gremlins 2. You guys don't remember her?
She has big lips, a big butt, green hair, and I think she just looks like Nicki Minaj.
Her name was Greta.
In this case, the opinions of Favorite Ray might reflect those of Superhero Speak. And on that note,
finally got one.
We're going to take a quick commercial break and be right back with our main topic because John has something to say.
I what?
After these messages, we'll be right back.
All right, we're back. And of course, we're here this week to talk about Blade 2. Apparently, some of us don't have fond opinions of it. Some of us do. Let's find out who likes it, who doesn't like it. So I haven't. God, I don't think I've seen this movie since it came out, and I forgot more about it than I remembered. So I'm kind of curious. Let's go around the room, see what people thought looking back on it, and we'll start with Ray.
Let's see. The year was 2002. Coming off the success of Blade 1 from 1998, they took their time and they made a very quality movie here. And they got Guillermo del Toro, one of the most, visually, one of the best directors ever in history.
One of the best up-and-coming directors at the time.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you put together an epic cast. You got Ron Perlman. You got Donnie Yen. Of course, Wesley Snipes coming back. I mean, you just throw this Norman Reedus.
Very young Norman Reedus.
Yeah, little chubby wubby Norman Reedus. I mean, you really assembled a hell of a cast visually. There's not one bright light in the entire movie.
No,
not one.
It's
You're either in the dark club, the dark sewer, the dark warehouse, or whatever it is. Everything is dark. Nothing is bright and happy. Even in the first Blade, you got a sunshine. Even though it was sunscreen on the eyeballs type thing. But man, it's just visually and the writing wasn't half bad. I absolutely love this movie. 100%. It's one of the best comic book movies ever made that was not based around a comic.
All right. Don, what were your thoughts?
This is, how special Blade 1 was to me. Blade 2
go get your coat.
No, we're gonna leave that. We're gonna leave the monochromatic drapery. I love this movie. I will admit, going back and watching, because I watched it all the time when it first came out. It was one of the DVDs I had, and I would frequently watch it. I would probably smoke a little bit and watch this. So I remember back then thinking, oh, it's cool that his new gear, this guy smokes weed, and Blade said he maybe smoke later. Now it's just kind of ridiculous. But anyway, the beginning of the movie, I actually don't like that much because it's all, and I get it, they got to do this, but it's, we got to show how badass Blade is. So he's got the trench coat flips over the motorcycle and he's flipping his blades like this, but then he just moves over 3 feet so the guy jumps past him. So they really tried too hard for the first 15-20 minutes of this movie.
How is that any different than how Blade 1 was?
Because Blade 1, it was original. Blade 2, it's okay, blatantly, we got to spend 10-15 minutes showing you how badass Wesley Snipes and Blade are. His little buckles are shinier. You say there's no light. Yeah, there is. They're on the little buckles there. He's got the red inlining of the trench coat. Again, flipping it over the motorcycle. Just way, way too flashy. But then the blood pack comes in. And that is where, to me, it is. You're right. It's all dark. There's no more flashy fighting. It's all very gritty after that for the most part. The blood pack is very interesting. You almost wish this movie didn't happen so you could see the movie where the blood pack goes after Blade. But nonetheless, it's an interesting dynamic and an interesting story. Like I totally can get into the Reapers just showed up, and now boom, now the Vampire Nation has to enlist their greatest enemy. You know, like you said, Ron Perlman and Luke Goss before they were together in Hellboy, so that was cool. Which makes me think Luke Goss was like the early 2000s Mad Mikkelsen. He must have been like the bad guy for hire of that day and age. But
yeah,
there you go. So yeah, I loved it. We mentioned Mos Def, you know, the music that plays as they're walking into the club. Like, I still thought that was a cool scene. I don't know about Ron Perlman's hair though. I don't get, like, he's got the mustache and then it goes up over the ears and then back like under. Like it's his last bat. Like, he went bald a long time ago, and that's all the hair he can grow. He just won't give it up.
Acting is about choices. That was a choice.
But yeah, no, I thought it was great.
How about JD? Did you agree with all the choices?
I agree. I hear what Don's saying. You got to keep in mind this is the year 2002, right? So we're 3 years after The Matrix. So everyone's still chasing that ghost, right? So everything has to look flashy. And I thought the fight stuff and something was actually flashier than Blade 1, but it didn't bother me. It's just a product of the time, right? You look at a movie, movies are what they were in their eras. But this movie aged better than I expected it. I really liked it when it first came out, and it was pretty good in retrospect. Like, I really enjoyed it. I liked the story. You could see what kind of a filmmaker Guillermo del Toro would be, and I would love to see him tackle this exact same material now with his vision. Like, I would love to see what this stuff would be today. You know, I thought it was really good. I enjoyed it.
He brought a lot of his visual style from Mimic.
He did.
Yeah, if you go back and you watch Mimic, which was like
97,
98. Yeah. It's like 4 years prior. I mean, it's like not night and day, but it's like the same thing. That whole dark, gritty, you know, the shadows moving, kind of everything. That's his visual style, man. It's such a signature. I love it.
And he's grown, right? Like, he's so much more ornate in his storytelling now and more classical with how he makes films. I would love to see him tackle this particular film with more of a grown-up sensibility with his work, with his love of monsters, right? Like, I can only think that the Reavers would look so much, you know, more weird.
Yeah, but they look terrifying as they were in 2002.
The jaw, is just such a cool concept for then. It was such a different take on the paper. You guys know who it's supposed to be, right? Nomak is supposed to be Michael Morbius.
Yeah.
But they couldn't get the rights from Sony, so they created their own.
Yeah.
Well, shit.
Huh. Interesting.
Donnie Yen did the combat choreography, so it's a sure sign of quality.
Definitely.
All right, John.
But I thought it was perfectly fine. It was perfectly serviceable.
That's not what you said earlier. Come on.
Well, there are still things. I mean, you know, like
Shatter our veneer. Come on, John.
You gotta love Guillermo del Toro. You know, like holding on a shot of incredibly bad, incredibly early CGI.
Yeah,
just so you could get every little.
Are you talking about the backflip off the light?
No, but at one, I think around at that point he hit somebody and they just held on the shot on the guy for like 10 seconds, 10 long seconds of him disintegrating.
Yeah,
it's like, I mean, but then again, you know, back then the CGI was new and, you know, it was pretty good for the day. And the reason why everything's dark in this is because the Matrix had come out, was so popular that they were trying to mimic that a little bit, that and Guillermo del Toro's, you know, style too. Otherwise,
which works because he's running around with vampires. So
right, yeah, of course. You know. But the only other thing that bothers me is this is the movie that perfected the, you know, only one bad guy attack at a time method of, you know, getting the hero. So
not the Reapers. The Reapers,
no, the Reapers,
hunters.
Yeah,
they jumped you in a pack. They didn't care.
I know, but if in some of the fight scenes, if you slow it down a bit, you can see. You're probably right. Like more so in the first one than this one, but it's just like you can see the guys all moving around, like, you know, waving their arms, like we're in the fight. But you know, they're still like 10 feet from Blade or whoever they're fighting against. It's just, you know, and they're attacking one at a time. But and I like the physics of was it ultraviolet light that curves around
tunnels. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah, I thought that too, actually, when seeing it. I'm like, wait a minute, they've run around
doesn't move like that.
They've run around like 3-4 corners. How is that working? But
talking about vampires.
Right. Well, right.
But still, I mean, there's some things.
There are some laws of physics that need to be obeyed.
Yeah. So, but otherwise, it was still
not human beings flying, not human creatures flying though, and eat. I don't know. I think it's such a
it is a comic book movie. So
I know, but there are things you can suspend your disbelief about, and then there's a light bomb that acts like it's fire. Well, even fire doesn't act.
They
the
brought
way
a
it
man
does
back
in
to life that we saw die in the first movie. You can expect
all right.
human beings
Yeah,
can traverse the walls between life and death, but not that light can bend.
There are only certain things your suspension of disbelief can handle.
You
but
pick
anyway,
and choose what your suspension of disbelief can handle.
That's oh my god. All right. So like I said, I hadn't seen this I think since 20 years ago. And I have to say that one of my first I wasn't sure about it, and the more I think about it, I like the movie, but there are definite issues with it. And I'll have to say too, I feel like they weren't planning to really do a sequel. And that's what it feels like. They took elements from the first movie and said, how do we now morph these into a continuing story, into a sequel, which I appreciate that. They don't throw away everything from the first movie for the sake of making a sequel. They try to make it work, but it also becomes that whole thing of you killed Whistler in the first movie to impact Blade, but right away we're going to bring him back to life in the first one. And
not only that, but he kills all those vampire council members. Those are supposed to be the big council of vampires that tell you what
those are supposed to be the Nosferatu, the high,
and then now we've got
oligarchy. Yeah,
right. Damoskinos. Oh wait, he's the head guy. Okay, those go. And then of course they put the little thread out there to hold it together. Oh, thank you for taking care of Frost. Okay, it's a stretch. You made it, but you're stretched.
Right. Yeah, no, exactly. Of course, and that's the other thing. If you kill the main person every time, how do you keep making movies if you keep killing the head guy?
Well, then Blade Trinity, there's a new head guy anyway.
Right. Yes, exactly.
Well, they just went right to the top and said, let's do the whole, was it Dracula thing?
Dracula.
Right? So,
yes.
But it was still a serviceable movie. I mean, I literally was folding laundry to it, while I was watching because I knew we were doing it.
Serviceable.
But there were times when I stopped folding and just watched. It was good.
There's not one uninteresting character in this entire movie.
True.
Agreed.
Not one.
Is that the writing or Guillermo?
Even the lawyer, that snarky ass lawyer in the beginning and then in the end, even he was entertaining. There was not one bad character.
They got him that one good line. Are you human? Barely. I'm a lawyer.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the tail end of the always making fun of lawyers and movies era. What about, okay, let me ask you, this is a legitimate question. I just wonder, this Norman Reedus guy, is he the same guy in The Walking Dead that plays Daryl?
Yes.
Yes.
That's Daryl.
That's
okay.
Norman Reedus.
Okay. Because I was like, man, this guy's doing a real good job of cosplaying Daryl from. But okay.
Oh my God.
The same character to me, it seems like. This is the origin of that character. It's Scud.
Put some respect on his name.
Well, actually, no, he's dead. But anyway, that was a.
I will say too, that is one of the things that feels a little out of left field at the end of the movie. His betrayal.
The turn, yeah.
The turn, yeah.
You gotta have that third act, man. You gotta have that little twist at the very end to make it all come together with all the.
Well, it's kind of payoff though, right? Because he revives Whistler, and Whistler's kind of like peeling back the layers of this Scud character. Is like, you're a fuck up. You're gonna blow up my car. You're fucking with my life's work, and shit like that. And then so you kind of root for Whistler. At least I did. Like, I like this fucking guy. Whistler's back. And he's kind of a dickhead to Whistler, and then he gets blown up. I mean, I don't know. It's a kind of satisfying. I don't quite understand the double crisscross though. Like, I know Blade understood that he was turned, but
you have to make Blade weak at some point in the movie. You got to make him weak. What's his weakness? I guess so. Whistler.
Yeah.
Why not?
That and I guess Whistler was popular, so they
very popular. So I'm guessing. So I'm just gonna go in a conspiracy theory. I'm thinking that the last bullet that where he in the first movie, Whistler's like, "Shoot me, you son of a bitch," all that. I'm thinking it was, "You stupid son of a bitch." I'm thinking that I don't know. Maybe it was a blank. I got nothing.
No,
actually, honestly, what probably happened is, and they say this happens sometimes when people try to do suicide like this, that they
misfire.
fuck up,
Yeah,
and they end up like just blasting their face off and living. So maybe he did that, but then they turned him into a vampire and healed.
Yeah, that's one of the things they say that in the movie. Like he shot himself and then he fully turned, and then so it healed him. Yeah.
So he probably fucked himself up, but was vampire. So just.
They had me locked up for 2 years, couldn't fix my damn leg.
Right. How's the weather up there? I'm walking on sunshine.
He had a lot of great one-liners. I will give him that.
No, the old grizzled character. He's the best.
And every time I watch this movie, I don't know if it's just me or if it's any other fat ass out there, but every time you see Norman Reedus shoving them Krispy Kremes into his mouth, you just want to go get some Krispy Kremes and do the exact same thing.
True. But yeah, we talked about this earlier. Why the F do they show Powerpuff Girls like 5 times in this movie? I don't understand the correlation.
Scud's the kind of guy that goes backpacking in the mountains and gets attacked by 2 chicks that took him back to his tent.
All right. Hold on, John.
What?
As somebody who watches a lot of Powerpuff Girls, can you explain that?
No, there's
connection.
It's got to be somebody who's working on the show, on the movie that also had ties to the show or something. I mean, I wouldn't put it past Toro, but Toro didn't have anything to do with anything.
Maybe Scud, Norman Reedus, was treating it like John does with Blade 2. He was folding his laundry while he was working on something, so he puts on Powerpuff Girls. He's not really paying attention to it. He's not laughing at it.
There you go. Making sure doing it's on, like multiple TVs throughout.
Exactly.
He's got a TV in his van. Oh, let me get Powerpuff Girls on that.
Mm-hmm.
A New Line Cinema does not own Powerpuff Girls in any way.
New Line is owned by Warner. So Warner is Warner is Cartoon Network.
Yeah.
So there is a connection.
So it was a cartoon that they had the rights to, and they probably were trying to prop up at the time. So
it was big in the era, like 2002. Like
yeah.
A lot of video games. Yeah,
it was one of the things.
That's a weird crossover.
They wanted all the young kids who were watching this movie to go,
right?
Hey, that's something I like too. Now let's watch them, disembowel another vampire.
Right.
There's a connection. I'm trying to figure out what it is, and I don't know.
Yeah, I know. This is. I mean, yeah, I can't even think
it's like it's
did
there
the studio
to
have a tie and they were
right. Or is it there to somehow tie this movie together with Kevin Bacon so we can have our 3rd degrees of Kevin Bacon or whatever the hell that's called?
It
6 degrees.
It says
6
here
degrees,
that Guillermo del Toro actually explains it in the audio commentary on the DVD.
Oh,
is it on the Blu-ray? Because I'll listen to it later.
My brother has my old DVD, and maybe I'll go. Okay.
Oh, and
I'm sure a Google search will.
Also, we are, as of this recording, which is March 20th, 2 days away from the 20-year anniversary of Blade 2. We came this close together.
Perfect timing.
Maybe we should have. Wait, how many days away?
2.
Oh, well, this will come out after.
22nd.
Yeah, so this will come out the day after the anniversary.
Perfect.
So there you go.
I feel like we did it on purpose.
Yes.
Kind of like
we did
at the exact same time.
Perfect. And we've somehow got some sort of cosmic power with streaming services because remember we were watching the Batman, then right when we were done watching them, they took them off HBO Max. Right? We were watching the Batman.
Yes.
They were on it. I swear I must have been the last person on earth to watch Batman and Robin on HBO Max. Then we start watching. Yeah, the only. Then we start watching the Blade movies. Last week, I had to rent it from Amazon. Now this week, boom, they're on HBO Max, all of them. Like somebody is listening to this show and just manipulating things in a certain way. I don't get it either, but I'm just, while we're talking about conspiracy theories, I'm throwing that out there. I don't know. Streaming services seem to be molding to the superhero speak whim. I don't know. I'm just, maybe I'm crazy. I am crazy.
Wait a minute.
But,
Or maybe we're just telling the future,
Or John, wait. You're the one that works for the evil empire.
I can neither confirm nor deny.
So I'm on TVTropes.com. I don't know how much you want to put stock into this, but according to this, the scene where Scud's watching Powerpuff Girls, which was originally written to be Speed Racer, but they didn't have the rights to it and decided to use Powerpuff Girls instead because they had the rights to it.
So no real reason, I guess.
Okay.
Except why would they put Speed Racer on? That was even older.
No, but it was supposed to be like he liked. The character liked it. That's all.
He just likes weird shit. I mean, look at the way he dressed, you know, the way he talked. I mean, he was just a weird guy altogether.
Right. Like, I kind of get it. Like, at this time, 2002, I'm 22. And as I just explained earlier, this is the time of my life where I'm, you know, smoking the doobs. So, like, I get the pandering here because, yeah, I'm smoking doobs. I'm watching Cartoon Network. Like, I'm getting, like, they're trying to sell them to, I don't know, 22-year-old me. I don't know. 41-year-old me's looking at it and I don't get it.
I don't think Blade 2 was the platform to sell cartoon.
No, I don't think it was either.
But like Don's saying, because I'm the same age, like there's a lot of people our age in college that were watching Cartoon Network frequently. Like, you know, that's when like it was acceptable.
Till 2 o'clock in the morning. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like it was crazy for a guy in his 20s in the early aughts to be watching Cartoon Network.
And smoking doobies and eating Krispy Kremes, apparently.
Yeah.
There was a Blade cartoon, though, right?
No.
There was a Blade cartoon.
Blade was on
Spider-Man
Spider-Man.
the animated series.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, there was never a Blade, just a Blade cartoon.
No, there was actually.
No, there's a Blade.
There was a Japanese
like an anime Blade?
Yeah, it's like an
Yeah.
anime show.
2011. In 2011, a TV miniseries.
Yeah, it was that anime show. They did X-Men too.
2011, they had a Blade TV show actually on Spike.
Yeah, Sticky Fingers.
Sticky Fingers, yes.
Yeah, from Onyx.
Slam.
Yeah.
All right. Boys be boys.
Boys, yes.
I'm in the right room.
That was a jam, man. It's like Onyx.
Still a jam.
That is a jam.
Turns out white kids from the 90s weren't so white.
Why do you
bad
think
joke.
was so
That one
popular?
did.
We weren't such crackers after all. Okay.
Oh, okay. I thought that landed like the Hindenburg. All right.
A little bit, Hindenburgish.
Let's.
We don't do racism well here.
Let's try.
Oh no, we're not very good at it.
I want to.
We don't do racism well.
We're sorry. We're sorry, Randy and B.
I wish we could call this episode "We Don't Do Racism Well."
No, we're not going to do that.
No, we're not. No.
We get a lot of views though. No.
They would be the people who would like that would be really disappointed.
Remember the Babylon 5 black?
Oh God. That was so long ago. I mean,
I don't think Randy would talk to us anymore.
Probably not.
You know what it is? I know, like me and Ray, I'll speak for myself. Like, I know I'm white. I get that. But I don't come from like a white city. Like,
I'm glad that you get that.
Right. Like, yeah, my eyes are open.
So Blade.
Yeah.
It's a good movie.
He is an African American, yes.
That's twice in a row.
So Blade 2, yeah.
So yeah, Whistler actually debuted in the Spider-Man the animated series television show.
Yeah.
Yes. We talked about that the last time.
And I was changing.
He wasn't here.
That's right.
I was not here. I heard it on when I actually listened to the show.
All right. So let's start. Let's get back on track. Let's start with a couple questions here. Let's do this. What was one or two favorite things about the movie? Like what do you walk away from going like, oh man, yeah, that was great that they did that. We'll start with Don this time.
Okay. Donnie Yen as Snowman, like, I don't know, I was really digging the Vampire Samurai thing, and I really enjoyed.
He went out like a bitch.
And that's
all camera kill. Come on, man.
I know
he deserved better.
That's what I'm saying. But when he was on screen and he was fighting, he was kicking butt, and I really thought that was cool.
He was a presence.
Yeah.
He didn't have to talk. He straight up Boba Fetted that shit.
Yeah, he didn't talk at all. Right.
Yeah, he didn't say one word. If you want Donnie Yen in an American film with a speaking role, then you have to watch Shanghai Nights.
Oh, I've never watched that movie. I should.
It's good.
Also,
good.
Rogue One.
Oh yeah, I am the Force. The Force is with me.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, great lines.
Well, it was a great line when they blindfolded him, and he was like, "What are you doing?" Because he's blind.
Mm-hmm.
So he's very underused in this. Then, as well.
Extremely.
Yeah.
Well, hey, he can only do so much. He choreographed the martial arts, so I mean,
yeah.
I just wanted to see him and Blade go at it. Just a little sword fight.
Yeah,
give me like 2 minutes.
Right. That didn't make sense. Yeah, there was a swordman on the villain side and a swordsman as the hero. They should have fought. Yeah. So what do you? Okay, that's something you didn't like. What was something you liked, Ray? What was your favorite thing?
Everything.
Favorite moment of the movie? Come on.
My favorite moment of the entire movie? Probably the sewer scene. Everybody would say, I like the club scene better. No, I like the sewer scene a lot better. Yes, even with the dumb bomb, but that Ron Perlman heel turn is just, it's epic. Oh, Blade, by the way, The bomb is busted, or he broke the handle or whatever. It was great.
Yeah.
That was pretty good.
And he's
Yeah.
reloading his guns and he's doing it all slow and just, I love it, man. He's such an asshole. He plays an asshole so well. So probably the entire underground scene. But my favorite scene probably in the entire movie is when he, and it's so cliche, he drops the light bomb and he tells Nisa to get the hell out of here. And then, you do not know who you are fucking with.
Yeah.
And then he cuts them all in one circular motion. He gets like a 10-tuple kill. I love it.
Multi-kill.
Yeah.
Oh.
Multi-kill.
All right.
Kill-tacular.
How about you?
Monster kill.
How about you, JD? Before you fall asleep.
Tired. I like the club scene. It's a little repetitive in the first movie, but
They acknowledge it though.
But that's the point. They did that on purpose. Like it steers into it. So I thought that's my favorite scene in the movie.
You've got to be kidding me.
John?
I liked when they first showed with the bifurcated jaw opening up,
Yeah.
That's
like,
pretty cool.
Like I guess that wasn't CGI, that was practical effects
Some of it.
compared
To a certain movement extent, yeah, it was.
because they put if some of it was CGI, they put a lot more money into those scenes than they did with the dying vampire.
There's a lot of practical effects in this movie.
Yeah.
And they all look great, especially like that autopsy scene. That's disturbing.
Yeah.
Like seeing the organs come alive when she drops the blood in there is just something that's disturbing.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Yeah, you kind of shades of The Thing there,
Yeah,
almost.
a little bit.
So yeah, I mean, yeah, the practical effects were great, and I liked it. I liked when they were showing that the new class vampires, the Reapers, were just awesome and disgusting and so yeah.
But they made you believe that they were killers. Like they could kill vampires very easily, and vampires aren't really that easy to kill unless you're Blade.
Yeah, they were blood junkies. Oh, the other scene is when he reaches out and Whistler throws the sunglasses to his head. Like, I mean,
I was
come
waiting
on.
for somebody to mention that.
That was kind of a callback to the first one.
I know it had to be mentioned. Well, also that there's this huge pool of blood there that Blade jumps into and heals. Even Ron Perlman should have known. Oh, he's in the blood. Oh, that's a bad thing. I should shoot into there or something. But nobody else uses the pool. I guess all the security was like human or something, which would be also kind of stupid because,
they were familiars. They didn't know anything. They were unfamiliar.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. But the glasses thing, because they had to. I mean, they just had to.
Oh, Don, by the way, you love the blood pack so much in this movie, right?
I think it's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool little cast of characters, right?
Yeah, for the most part.
Exactly how many of them and their weapon set are taking down Blade? You got two guys, one from Fast and the Furious.
It's not going to be Lighthammer. He's got the dumbest weapon of all.
A fucking hammer. Yeah, I'll keep going. The girl had machine guns.
Yeah, and the guy from the Fast and Furious, Chupa, had a M16.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
guns. Hammer, guns.
That's what I said.
And then Snowman.
He's got the weapon
was
that'll
the
do
ace in the
something.
hole. Yeah, Snowman was the only one that could go toe to toe.
Well, Reinhardt, he had blades on his gun. Remember, he did that cool X strike where he killed two.
It was cool. Hair. But only one of them is taking Blade on. Only one.
I think the thing I really liked about the movie was that they cast an African American in the lead role, and it's good. Oh wait, I mean,
also supporting roles. Danny John Jules is a sub. Let's not forget him. Yep,
that's true.
Yes, wonderful. I love it.
I actually liked in the beginning when he's looking for Whistler, and he uses, I can't remember the character's name, the vampire that's to break into the place, and like people are running. I like the idea that they're showing. No. When he goes to capture that guy, what's his name?
You talking about the fat little dwarf guy
with the boa, with the red boa?
Yeah, with the red boa.
Yeah.
When he's breaking into that place, and like some of them fight him, and some of them run away. And it's just showing that, like, yes, they are afraid of him. It's not like, they don't all just go and try to kill him. Like, there are some that are smart enough to go like, yeah, no, he's killed too many of us. Let's get out of here. And Yeah, and like with the motorcycles, that was a decent fight scene.
Well,
I thought.
you got to remember.
What about
that
the Dark Knight mention?
What Dark Knight?
Scud called him, said the Dark Knight Returns. Someone catch that?
Oh yeah, I caught that. Yeah.
Very
I
meta.
just thought you said it and it just clicked in my brain.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and
but Dave, you also have to remember is that not every vampire is a warrior.
Right.
A lot of them are just people.
Yeah, it's one of those little things. One of those little things that like shows more depth to it than just like every time he walks in the room, vampires try to kill him.
Yeah.
So
they also really expanded on this universe too. They did a little bit with the higher up in the vampire hierarchy, a little bit with Frost.
Well, they did because when Priest, when they first enter the club, and the one blood pack person, Priest, who has a gruesome scene because you see him like turn into a Reaper. Yeah, he comments, he's like, half these fuckers aren't even pure blood. We should kill them all. Just it's like, oh shit, okay. He's talking about killing other vampires. Like,
yeah, no. So I mean, I appreciated that aspect. So, all right. What was something you didn't like, or your least favorite thing about the movie? And Ray, is gonna be difficult for you. So
not really.
Oh, okay. What is
something that's bothered me for almost 20 years to the day? I didn't like what was the brother's name? The Reaver, the lead Reaver. What was his name?
Jared Nomak.
Yeah. I didn't like the way that Nomak kind of became sympathetic at the end. I would have rather a rampaging villain instead of, oh, my daddy did this to me. I didn't like that. And then they killed Nisa. It just you went through all that trouble to save Nisa, and then you just ended up killing her. Just made no sense to me. It always bothered me.
They pulled in aliens.
Yeah. Fuck you, Newt. But
yeah,
Hicks. But man, that's really the only thing that really bothers me is that and Nisa was hot. You got to give her that.
Well, I mean,
I'm guessing
that's a reason to save a character because they're hot.
It's more than enough reason. That's why Miss Marvel is Miss Marvel in the MCU.
She was also an interesting character. I mean, the whole honor thing meant something to her, and
family meant everything to her, even dying for her, man. There's something that's positive. That's something good to look at.
Yeah.
You guys occurred it's the same ending as in 30 Days a Night.
I've never seen that.
Isn't it the same kind of vampires with the mouths that open up like that?
No.
They do interesting things. They don't open up quite like that, but the 39 Days a Night vampires do something interesting. I forget what, but it's the same. The good vampire dies as the sun comes up.
They are menacing in that movie, though.
They are.
They are probably the most terrifying vampires, other than the Reavers, probably ever.
Okay, so here's a take that I will stand by. 30 Days a Night, probably the best vampire movie ever made.
Do you know why? Because Steve Niles was very hands-on. He was very hands-on with that.
Great comic, phenomenal film. Little changes, but I think they were good changes for the most part. Like, I do think that's the best vampire movie ever made. And I like From Dusk Till Dawn a lot too, but that's just fun. That's a fun movie. 30 Days a Night's legitimately scary.
Yeah. So then is your least favorite thing about this movie is that it's not 30 Days a Night?
No, I like 30 Days a Night.
All right, well then come on. What JD?
My least favorite thing about this movie, I guess, I didn't really think about that. I don't really focus on what I don't like about movies. If I had to pick something I liked the least about this movie, probably some of the production design that I'm not thrilled with. It is hard to see. Like, it's super dark.
It's the vampire world.
Yeah, I get it.
It's supposed to be bright.
No, I'm with you. That's why I don't hate it a lot. But I guess if I had to pick something, like, there's nothing about this movie that I'd say like I don't like this. I wish it was Michael Morbius, because I too enjoy continuity.
Yeah, but then could they have killed him at the end if it was Morbius?
Yes, then I wouldn't have to deal with Jared Leto now.
Well, they can make up for it now. Blade from the MCU can be in Morbius. That'll be his introduction.
I'm okay with that.
And that's the only way that movie's going to make money.
Would you like it if they continued this story? Like, if these stories don't go away with the new Blade, if they keep them in continuity, would you like it if it was a continuation?
With the multiverse, that's a possibility now.
Sure, why not?
Because there's nothing in these movies that would say, oh, that's not in the MCU. Mm-hmm. There's nothing in these that would take you out of it.
Who's to say Blade isn't 50, 60 years old and he just, because vampires don't age, right? Yeah. Why can't, that's a great call, actually, Don. Why can't this be the current Blade's origin? I like that.
And then we can have the Blade memes which said, I'm first MCU movie now, right?
Because that's a fact.
Yes. Wesley Snipes would like that too. You heard I read something recently. They actually went to talk to Wesley Snipes before getting Ali to get in this. They're like, hey, are you good with this? Because we'll take you back if you want. Because everybody loves Wesley Snipes in these movies because he's great.
When every Marvel movie is an MCU movie, none of them are an MCU movie.
I disagree with that. I do think every Marvel. I mean, like, thanks to our little multiverse, everything is in continuity in some way, shape, or form. It's more fun that way.
Oh yeah. Oh, I get it. And continuity. Whores like me love this.
Salad bar, man.
That piece of shit X-Men 3: The Last Stand is in the MCU.
Well, yeah, but it's in some universe we don't care about really.
Bryan Singer luckily retconned that thing out of existence, so it exists.
True,
but kind of not really.
Yeah,
it never happened. Same people were there, but it never happened.
Brett Ratner sucks.
So all right, so then Don, this is not X-Men 3. This is Blade 2. So what's something that you didn't like about this movie, or stuck out as a sore thumb, or?
What stuck out as a sore thumb is Damaskinos, the head vampire, father of this Reaper. Jared Nomak. He created him, turned him into a Reaper. Why was he so frail? He was no threat at all, really. Why? I was thinking in the movie, why are people listening to him? Why don't they just kind of push him aside and do what they want?
I assumed he's super powerful. We just don't see it. Right?
Because they respect the hierarchy.
That's true.
Okay, well then that respect hierarchy guy, then let his son just come and kill him. He couldn't stop him. Doors are coming down.
He had to hide from him. Nomak was coming to find him. He used Blade to help find him.
That's true.
He was hiding.
Because Damaskinos was a bitch. That's all I'm saying.
That is a fact.
I don't understand why.
Because he was 10,000 years old. He was crumbling to dust before our eyes.
Yes, and then he's face cracked.
That's why he needed all that blood. That's why he had a bloodbath.
Well, speaking of people who need a lot of blood, John, what about you?
Well, I mean,
that was a great beat. That was a great pregnant pause you took before speaking. I just have to make sure I say that. Continue.
Thank you. Well, the thing that kept taking me out of the movie was this is because I get very detail oriented. Was the fight scenes where only one person at a time would go after him. It's and the other thing is okay, so every one of these security guys has a gun. And yet they're sitting there in the background waiting for them to one at a time go into hand-to-hand combat. The Daywalker. It's dude, just you're surrounded him. Just fire. It's
because that worked out so well in Hawkeye.
Yeah, guns would work on enough. Guns would work on him.
Let's have the silver nitrate bullets, which he's the only one that had those.
They'd slow him down, though. I mean, they punctured him several times. Every one of these movies, they've
no, he's not impervious. Yeah,
right. He's not impervious, but they would have slowed him down.
Even one of the vampires says that it's not silver nitrate, but regular bullets still hurt.
Yeah, and if they drain him enough blood, because draining him of blood, slows him down, because every time they stick him in a coffin or on a table and they stick the things through him to grab his blood because it's magic, that he passes out at the very least. So you could take or just don't give them all 22s, give them all 45 magnums or something. I mean, for that, or 50 calibers, for crying out loud. Why are they all?
He had lightweight Kevlar.
Yeah. So, but still, his face. I mean, it's the old.
He can dodge.
It's the old superhero thing. Yeah, it's like the Batman thing, wow, because they were all firing guns at him. Well, it must have hurt really bad when they shot his jaw off. No, they never shoot for that area.
Well, because that's a lot harder to do than people, think.
Yes,
but again, it's a movie.
Guns.
Yeah.
Yes,
and that reminds me of Dumb and Dumber, Dumb and Dumber, where he wore the bulletproof vest, and then Lloyd Christmas was like, well, what if he shot you in the face?
That's a risk.
He shot me in the face.
What if they did shoot me in the face? Well, that was a risk we're willing to take.
Yep.
A fantastic.
So that's it though. I mean, again, this is a popcorn movie, or something to watch while you're eating dinner or doing something around the house, whatever. I mean, or it's a fun movie. It's
not the way really you describe it.
I think the only things that took me out of the movie was the the bad CGI. And I understand.
How can you hold that accountable though? It's it's older technology, man.
Because they leaned into it, though. That's the problem, especially in the beginning of this movie.
They linger on it
into it, right?
They linger on it a couple years ago. That was a newer technology.
Yeah, and it was good back. It was good back then.
Oh, but in Blade 1 they had it, but they just cut away, so it did. You couldn't. It was like, oh, flash, gone.
Right, but even Del Toro mentioned, and I read this, I forget where, that he was rushed for this, so like even he didn't really like the effects. And even these effects were better than what they had originally planned for the end of the first one, when they just took all of that out and just reshot it as a sword fight with the guy with, and put red around his eyes instead of this amorphous blob of blood. But even Del Toro said he didn't like the effects, so, but again, you can't really fault him because this was what, 93. So
Del Toro was never happy with any of his work.
No, 2000.
2002, right? 2000. It's still like, I mean, what, PS2,
PS2, Xbox that just came out. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So
we must have ticked off JD. Anyway,
enough of us.
This is a while ago.
But you really can't fault it for that. They were trying something new. Yeah, it looks a little cringy now, but back in the day, I remember they had like an HBO special on it, going over all the fight choreography and the special effects, and they went into the intricacies of how everything was done and filmed and things like that. It was really cool. But I mean, that's 20 years ago. I mean, what are you gonna do? They probably did it on a floppy disk.
True.
Yeah, a couple of floppy disks. Right?
Hey, you could ruin the world back in the 90s with a floppy disk, man.
That is true.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All right. So JD has lost his internet.
That's what you get for living in the sticks.
Well,
That's
let's
what
hope he finds it.
I've got 3 battery backups to not have that happen.
No, but I'm trying to say, like, if that's the worst thing and it's an error thing, but they did lean into it a little bit. It was a fairly decent movie then.
Yeah.
And again, I kind of agree with like, why are they listening to this frail old man? Right? Like, he didn't do anything in the movie to make you go, oh, that's why he's in charge, So.
And you'd think that he'd
respect the family.
Yeah, and aren't like most vampire canon is like the older they are, the stronger they are. So this guy should have been able to throw he should have at least been able to hold his own against one of those, new vampires, one of the Reavers. So
he just totally got owned.
Yeah. He didn't even throw a punch, really. I mean, he just sat there. He pulled a Han Solo, really.
Think of it like
vampire glyph, no magic, nothing. Come on.
He pulled a Han Solo. He's like, "Oh, I love you, son." So that was it.
I mean, you got to think about it like this, right? The hierarchy of the vampires. It's like, look at you don't always agree with who's president, but he's still your president, and you gotta do what they.
Yeah, but sometimes you have to push the president aside. But anyway,
which they did.
Right.
Yeah, they did with prejudice.
Anarchy.
Anyway, JD's back. Yay!
I lost damn rural internet.
Yes, that's what John said. That's what you get for living in the sticks.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah, I live in the sticks. But we
tweet
just
Elon Musk to put some Starlink satellites above your house.
There you go.
I'm not gonna have a choice about that because apparently he's just gonna do it anyway.
Well, you have to apply for those because before I got the internet that I have now, you had to apply for it, and it goes by area code. So if it's not ready in your area, you can't get it.
Sounds a lot like early cable, though.
Right.
So
true, but
So how the hell did I get it in Ukraine, but I couldn't get it down in Virginia?
Ukraine's got stuff going on right now, so
they need it more.
Sure.
Some things are a little bit more important than internet speeds in Virginia.
But how crazy is that in this day and age, there's satellites up there that provide internet that can be moved at will. To say, okay, this area needs internet, and there you go.
Pretty nuts.
Yeah, but eventually,
compared to the stuff in area S4, it's nothing. But I won't get into that.
Yes, but there's also a possibility that one day those satellites' orbits will decay and they'll all come crashing down, and that'll be a fun day. Anyway,
right, Skynet. Been waiting for this.
Sorry, I lived through Y2K. I'm not scared anymore. It's just not going to happen.
Oh, I have friends that work for companies that do stuff like that, and they're like, yeah, that's a concern. Anyway,
They're working on it. They're working on it.
but they're working on it.
It's not like that stupid moon movie. You're like, oh my god, the moon is crashing into us now, and we have to fix it.
So it's funny because you said Y2K. Real quick, I have a friend who works for a company I will not name because I know they're listening, and the project he was working on for Y2K, because a lot of developers had to make sure their software was Y2K compliant, was because there was a satellite in orbit that's like almost the size of a football field, that if it thought it was the year 1900, it would cause it to crash into the earth.
Nice.
So obviously they fixed it, but yeah.
Or did a mythical superhero that we don't really know exists just catch all the satellites and launch nuclear weapons and averted Y2K, and we'll just never know it.
Yeah, and pushed them all into the sun.
Out there? If not, it should be. Yes,
he caught them all in a giant net and threw them into the sun, and then used his vision to heal the walls.
I don't want to go back.
All right.
Then he got sick when he got scratched on his neck.
What a bad movie that was.
I said I didn't want to go back.
Well, we're diving into Blade Trinity next, so we got to dip our toes into something here.
Worse.
Yeah.
They actually tried to make Blade Trinity. Like, Golden Globus was a shit show all the time. This was, or Canon, whatever they were at the time. This
is here's a question to ponder before we do Blade Trinity, about Blade Trinity. Is that the movie that turned Ryan Reynolds from a romantic lead character into a superhero sci-fi action star?
No, because it didn't take.
Yeah.
We didn't get another one for years.
It took a lot of trying.
Is it the movie that made him want to go that way?
Green Lantern?
Yeah.
Yeah.
X-Men Origins Wolverine.
I'd say here's right, exactly. This is the movie.
Is that me? Oh, okay. I thought it was me.
No, this time we lost Don, apparently.
He's in Cleveland. Can't blame rural internet on that.
In my circle.
There we go.
Am I?
You're back.
Am I back?
You're back
okay.
now.
And you know your front. I can see your front. But...
Yeah. I totally lost my train of thought there. Fuck.
Ryan Reynolds.
It's all the doobies.
Oh, yes. This is the movie where me and friends in my circle said, hey, this guy should be Deadpool. This is the movie that did that.
And then they made him Deadpool and covered his mouth.
Yeah.
Yes, they did. They quite fucked him up in Wolverine Origins.
But he did. But he knew that was wrong, and he did that movie so he'd get the chance next time to do it right.
Well, he has to sign a contract, so he couldn't quit after signing it. So it's like he's yeah, I want to be Deadpool. Okay, great. We're gonna not put you in the costume and cover your mouth. What?
And then we're gonna make you Green Lantern and put you in a CGI costume.
I see. Okay, I don't hate the idea of the CGI Green Lantern costume because Green Lantern costume is supposed to be made of light.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Okay.
So in theory, it could have worked. The problem is the movie sucks ass.
Yeah.
Hot, unpopular take.
Next.
Hot, unpopular take. The Green Lantern movie is not bad, just the main villain is. They should not have gone parallel.
True, yeah. No, see, big smoke monster, bad
They
guy.
should not have gone parallax. If they didn't go parallax, now they just got his hands on.
Now that JD put his earphones back on.
Hey, at least he met his wife during that movie. So
he did meet his wife during that movie. That is the only decent thing that came out of that flaming piece of excrement.
All right. So
a better villain. Come on.
Here's what we're gonna do. The next three movies.
The better villain. They didn't use him. Sinestro's right there.
The next three.
Okay.
The next three movies that we're going to do are the horrible Ryan Reynolds superhero movies: Blade Trinity, X-Men Origins Wolverine, and Green Lantern.
It's going to be Reynolds.
Shit.
It's Reynolds month. It's superhero speed.
Lord. Actually, that's a great idea.
Reynolds month.
Look,
another hot take. Hot take. Wolverine, X-Men, Wolverine Origins. Take out the shit Deadpool. Not a bad movie. I loved that Shriver guy is favorite.
You're giving JD a headache.
He is well casted. The movie. Dave,
so I guess maybe you shouldn't listen to me when I say New Mutants is good as well. You should keep that in mind. I guess.
I still haven't seen that yet. I still gotta watch.
I swear it's a decent movie. I swear it is.
Watch that after we get. Yes, let's do this. 3 shitball right. Wow, that guy's had a lot of patience. Good for him.
It's what makes him a superstar.
Can we end it with him? What is it? The Proposal with Sandra Bullock? Can we end it with that?
It's not a superhero movie.
You think if we
It's
make
off-brand.
a big deal about this, he'd come on the show? Think we could make that happen?
Maybe.
Dave,
Ryan Reynolds,
stalk his Twitter. See if you can make that a thing.
Stalk his TikTok. He's pretty active there too.
Stalk his TikTok.
I mean, I tag him in a lot of stuff.
Maybe call Mint Mobile. See if you can get him.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Oh,
see if you can get a little day out of this, Dave.
let's call it the Mint Mobile month.
Does he have a cameo?
Love that.
Maybe we could buy a cameo for him. Come on the show.
What's that service that you can pay people and they'll give you personal messages?
Cameo.
Cameo.
There you go.
Cameo.
That's right. So it's called
Mint Mobile month brought to you by Cameo.
I think we've got it.
All right. Well, any final thoughts on Blade 2 before we wrap it up?
Yeah, we've gone way over. Yeah.
Well,
All
I've
right.
enjoyed this time that we've had with two decent to good movies. We'll appreciate that time. It has passed, apparently. So we will have Mint Mobile month.
Are we talking like a bad movie a week? So we're gonna come on for 4 episodes straight and talk about shit movies.
I don't think so, because isn't something coming out like
There's
soon?
Doctor Strange.
And then Moon Knight.
Moon Knight. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that we'll be talking about.
I think we'll get some reprieve there, Ray.
So
Yes.
we'll call it the Mint Mobile Marathon
Mint
There you
Mobile.
instead of the month, because we got to stretch it out.
There you go.
Okay.
I like it.
So when you tweet, you got to make sure and include Mint Mobile and Ryan Reynolds, and
I love
perhaps
it.
cross promotion will entice him to
Yes.
come onto the show.
All right. On that note, you guys have any recommendations for our audience? And
Wait, JD, you were keeping that. I thought he was frozen. He wasn't. He was just deadpanned for. You're really disappointed in. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good.
He's tired. We're at 2 hours and 15 minutes right now.
I got a
sorry.
puppy now, so like I was up at 3 a.m. taking the puppy out, so like I'm not firing on all cylinders today.
I hear you.
all right.
And I'm going to do my taxes at 7 a.m. tomorrow. So
Oh, fun. All right. So, as I was saying, you guys have any recommendations for our audience? And of course, you guys can plug your shows one last time. So, we'll start with you, Ray.
I don't want to do another plug.
Okay. So, any recommendations?
None. I suck.
All right. Well,
terrific.
yes, wonderful. Go listen to Girl
Okay.
Brain Podcast and listen to
No,
some
don't do
sucking.
that. But don't do that. You'll be too offended. But no, I'll say go watch Blade Trinity, because there's just so many to start off Mint Mobile Marathon month. That's how we're gonna do it. I might even do watch-alongs. I might even do watch-alongs on Twitch or something.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm tired. Sorry, JD. I think I'm a little bit more tired than you.
It's all good, brother.
we are so old.
Todd.
Well, I will plug my podcast, Omega Level Nerds, so you can catch that on all the podcast places. Search on YouTube. Follow the show at Omega Level Nerds on Twitter. And I recommend that you check out my show, because you will see that I'm not racist. And
that's what
And
we're
now we've lost
I'm just, yeah, I'm just trying to sell that, because
Okay. JD.
they've led a different
So that's-
impression.
So that's the first thing. They're like, oh, I'm not going to listen to a superhero speaker, Omega Level Nerds, because that Don's a racist. But I went on his channel, and it turns out he wasn't.
Right.
Wow,
Yeah, follow that, JD.
I got nothing. I started The Talisman by Stephen.
Oh, great.
He said he started the Talisman, and
Oh,
apparently
God,
it was cursed.
he must have deciphered the talisman. Now he's frozen in time.
Yeah. Boy.
I'll give you
Yeah,
3 seconds, JD. 1.
It could have been Dreamcatcher. It could have been worse. It could have been Dreamcatcher.
It's probably his internet again.
Yep.
Probably.
All right.
I'll give him the names of my battery backups.
So while we're maybe seeing if he comes back, John, you got any recommendations?
I don't know if I said this last week, but you know, like give Turning Red a try. It was actually an okay movie. You know,
Oh, I was going to watch that. I forgot. Darn.
it has a lot of heart to it. You know,
Don't most Pixar movies? Isn't that like their
yeah.
thing?
Yeah, I know. And you keep thinking, this one's going to be worse. This one's not going to, this one's finally going to break the streak. No, like the beginning was a little bit rough with the narration and everything. And, you kind of thought, well, it is direct to stream, but no, it turned out to be really, really good, So I give it a go. And it's definitely good for kids, especially it's lessons of like acceptance for people that are different, and other cultures. So it was good.
With a heavy focus on getting your period. That's the major
the undertones of
you're skipping around it. I just wanted to put it out there.
I know the undertones are there, but again, not a bad thing for kids.
No, it's not. Yeah, I mean, that's a troublesome time for a young lady. So
it's a problem in America.
It's a troublesome time for a dad. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Hey, I remember when I first got my period, and
keep going.
Oh, wait.
It's a problem in America that we don't talk about these things. So it's good to have a movie where it's treated as kind of this does happen and it's normal.
It happened in My Girl.
It happened in mine too. No.
No.
The movie. My Girl.
Oh, okay.
Jamie Lee Curtis was.
I have a daughter too. So I had.
All right. Okay. So first off, I will end.
Goes over my racism. I'm great.
Yes. I will end. I will say that I got a message from JD as he lost internet and said, "Okay, fucking done." So.
Oh, that's my fault. That's got to be my fault.
He's done so.
No, I think he's just, he's mad because he's dropped the internet again. I will recommend that you go to superheroespeak.com where you won't find any racism, but you'll find the podcast every week. Links to all our social media at the top of the page and comic book reviews by our good friend D Square. And other than that, you know what? I do have an interesting recommendation. If you have not ever listened to Gutting the Sacred Cow, it is a podcast available, of course, on iTunes and wherever. I'm sorry, Apple Podcasts and wherever podcasts are available. It's a podcast review show where they take a movie that everyone loves and tear it apart and say, this is why it actually really stinks. Something I'm sure John would love more than anything. And the reason that I'm plugging this podcast is because I will be a guest on an upcoming episode. I'm recording tomorrow, and the movie that I'm tackling is Days of Future Past. All right, don't hate me. So
what? How can you gut that? That's so good.
Okay, we will see. I'm not giving anything away. So check that out.
Did they have a Twitter handle?
Yeah, it's Gutting the Sacred Cow. I'm not sure.
Gutting the Sacred Cow. Okay.
So yeah, just do a search for that. I don't know what the handle is off the top of my head.
Days of Future Past. You maggots. Okay. Listen, there's a lot I don't like about the X-Men movies, but God damn it, that's one thing I do like.
Right? Especially the extended cut, the road cut. 2 thumbs up.
Okay. You perked my interest.
I don't. Anyway, there's something about using Wolverine too much. All right. On that note,
you're not wrong.
As always, thanks for listening. And don't let your cape get caught in the door. Have a good week.